welcome, Spurs fam. Tonight, ah, West Ham won. Yuck. Uh, man, we gotta hear it from West Ham fans, and they have won a recent trophy. We have not. That sucks. West Ham. Florentina. But we have a lot to talk about tonight. We have a manager now. Various opinions coming in. So that was the huge news. A lot of huge news going on. Benzema going to the Middle East. As you can see right here. Messi's coming to America. He's coming to Miami, which is not too far from Orlando. So there's a lot of things going on, and we have a lot to discuss. We're waiting on 2-3 people to come on. That I'm waiting on to discuss this extreme homemaker that's going to be going on. I will want to share this nice photo or picture if I could pull it up. Okay, I will try to pull it up. It's a nice little photo of what Big Ange has signed himself up for. And trust me, he signed himself up for a big task. And so, yeah, Big Ange, he's in the house. Gosh, don't even have the image. Well, did it go through? Maybe not. But he has a very tall order to come in. There's a lot of work to be done with this club, and we are going to go into it. My thoughts on the hire I will share as soon as I big up a couple of people who are in the house. So T, he is in the house. We got Matt Jones, who's also in the house. Big up. We got Janos one. Big up the bubble blowers. I don't like West Ham, but I'm pleased with David Moyes. West Ham, yeah. But big up Jano 71. Big up Roy. Big up. A big up to you. LA 007. Big up Leanick out. Big up Scott M. West Ham winning a European trophy, and Spurs are supposed to be excited because we have a J League All-Star Big Ange in. Yeah. West Ham winning. Gosh. Cannot believe it. A cup we could have won, but West Ham did 15th. I mean, they were in a regulation battle for most of the year. And then they kind of picked it up the last 5 weeks of the season. And yeah, man, they took it seriously. And we got kicked out, but I was one of the very few that said, hey, try to win something. Try to get the club, bring a winning culture. Yes, it's a small trophy, but you have to start from somewhere. And so, yeah, congratulations to West Ham. It's my that's starting 3 minutes. Laughamatic. West Ham has more European Cups than Arsenal. That is true. You know what? I will take that. I will definitely take that. Still, West Ham. West Ham. Oh, yeah.
We're in the mud. We're in the mud. Do you know what, Mahri? Do you know what? First of all, big up to you, my man. How you doing? You good?
I'm doing good. I would do better if West Ham didn't win today, but yeah.
Bro. to all the Spurs fans, all these fans who said we don't want European football, we don't want European Conference League, we don't want the Mickey Mouse of Europe Cup. I hope you're watching tonight, man, and you're seeing the scenes in that stadium, because say what you want about West Ham, they've won a European trophy. They have won more than we have in 15, 20 years, man. They have won more than Tottenham in the last decade. I would say it's either equal or slightly better than the Carabao Cup. I would say that, because, oh my God, man. And they're in Europe now from being in a relegation battle. They're in the Europa Cup next season. We're in the mud. Listen, do you know what? To all the Levy in, all the Enoch in, all the Levy vaccine takers, congratulations. Well done. This is what we get. Everyone's doing better than us. Everyone. Brighton ahead of us, Villa ahead of us, West Ham winning trophies. We're just absolutely in the mud, man. And they're going to sing that all next season. You know, West Ham, champions of Europe or winners of Europe. What are we going to say? We're going to sit there going, we're the third richest club in the world. We're the third richest club in, you know, what are we going to say? I don't know, Mahri, man.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, at least they got more European Cups than Arsenal.
Yeah. Oh, listen, Arsenal in Europe are Arsenal fans. Listen, West Ham have done better than Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, and Fulham and all the other London clubs. All the London clubs this year, whatever way you look at it, West Ham have won more trophies. Arsenal fans can say, yeah, but we got second. We nearly got in a title race. In 5 years' time, no one gives a shit about your second place. Pretend title race. Chelsea, who cares? They've done nothing this year. Fulham, done nothing this year. Tottenham, done nothing this year. West Ham have won a trophy. They've outdone all of us. You know, Arsenal could have won the Europa Cup, but they fucked it up. They fucked it up. West Ham didn't fuck up their European games. Facts. It's just straight facts. But anyway, it's not about Arsenal. I can't believe West Ham have won more than I can't believe it.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. West Ham.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It pinch me. West Ham has won a cup. I'll do anything for a legit cup.
I think West Ham won a European Cup under Bobby Moore. I could be wrong. Listen, I don't even know, because West Ham haven't won anything for 50 years. You know, I mean, we're heading in the same direction, but listen, they've outdone all the London clubs. West Ham are kings of London for me. Arsenal fans are going to moan and complain because they fucked it all up, but that's typical Arsenal fans. They're just going to moan about everything because, but we came second. No one cares. Tottenham fans, we can't say shit. Spurs fans can't say a damn word to anybody. Yeah. Fulham, by their standards, they had a good season, I guess, but they won nothing. Chelsea in the mud, £600 million in the mud. West Ham, they stayed up. They've won a European trophy, and they're back in and they're in Europa Cup.
Yeah, meaning that if they win that, they don't have to finish top four. They could win that with a chance to go to the Champions League. It's
could you imagine if West Ham win the Europa Cup, Mario? We're finished. We're finished.
Yeah.
we're finished. We're finished.
Continue big ups. Beyond 72, West Ham has had the best season than Wolverhampton. Yeah, even United. There was the big debate. United was like Rio Ferdinand and him and what's his name? We have it all in our hands, and Don Robbie. I'm like,
bigger fish to fry, bigger fish to fry.
Fish to fry. But United had a better year than Arsenal. They won something. TJ. Congrats to West Ham.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
Yeah, I'm jealous. 007 commentators just said unique kind of fans. Oh yeah, West Ham fans. Gosh, Can it happen to a classier club, right? Hence my sarcasm. DJ Green Alert is in the house. Um, Mojo Matsi is also in the house. Big up. Um, Lewis 2705 is also in the house. Um,
If you do you know what, Murray? If you think about it, what West Ham have done is amazing because they've won a European trophy and they've qualified for the Europa Cup. And then you've got teams like Arsenal who spent £450 million under Arteta, Tottenham who have spent about £450 million in the last 4 years, Chelsea who spent 600 million in 1 year. All of these bigger spending London clubs have got nothing to show for it. Like there's no silverware. Whereas West Ham, I know they've spent, but they haven't spent that kind of money. And look, they've outdone us all.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. We have Coach Emery. he's he's in the house. We got Coach Shop. We got Jazz Fusion in the house.
Big up, big up.
We got Dunkel Zork, who's also in the house. Andy Lloyd, who's also in the house. Cholesky is in the house. Rob, who's also in the house. Rob Aries, Enoch out, Levy out, Tavistock out. We Ken Boone, who's also in the house. We got Beyond 72, that's also in the house. We got Ant Caracas in the house. We got Mo THFC who's in the house. We got Stewart. We got Tot Spurs. We got Manuel Davids in the house. We got Presley. Man, we got a full house. This is awesome. We got Chris, Mike, Zappa, who's also in the house. We got Ten Hag. The GOAT is in the house. I Show Skills. Mud FC, who's also in the house. Big up to all you guys. And Sandro Jammy is in the house. My boy Jammy. And we got Claude. We got Mr. Claude Murphy. He's in the house. De Leon is in the house. Yeah, we got a full house. We got a couple things to talk about. Still, news. Let's see. Harry Kane Madrid will no longer pursue him due to the 160 million asking price. Now Dario AS is tier 2, I want to say. They're not really a tier 1, but apparently Harry Kane is going to be. They're going to reveal the new uniforms with Harry Kane in it tomorrow. So I don't know. But
in the mud, mate. We're in the mud. We're in the mud.
Me.
In the mud.
Listen, I got to play
Deep.
football with about 3 man them that are hammers that work there as well. Mad.
Yeah. Congratulations to West Ham, West Spam. That's what I call them, West Spam. And the Spammers have every right to celebrate. Big up to them. Could have happened to a classier bunch. Is in the house. So let's talk about the element that is in the chat, that's in the club, and that is Big Ange. We'll start with Stel. Your opinions. I know you put up the video, but if anybody didn't see the video, or if anybody hasn't seen Ash, his opinions about Big Ange, you're gonna get it right now. Stel, your opinion of Big Ange.
Angelos, otherwise known as Angelo, which is Greek for angel. So let's pray to God this guy's an angel for Tottenham. I'll tell you now, but otherwise we're back in the mud. Yeah, look, Angelos Postecoglou. None of us spoke about him. None of us mentioned his name. He's someone that appeared out of kind of nowhere recently. I know one or two people mentioned his name as an idea in just random debates the past couple of months, but we were talking about Pochettino, Nagelsmann, Arne Slot, Klasner, Arnarim, the guy at Sporting Lisbon. So he's come out of nowhere, but the reality is what? Scott Munn is Australian. Postecoglou's here because of Scott Munn, nothing else. There's no reason, other reasons. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. The positives, managers, coaches, media, players, family, sports pundits, journalists, no one has a bad word to say about this guy. He comes with no baggage, like none. Whereas Jose's got a history of confrontation with media and players. Antonio Conte's got a history of just blowing up the club on the way out. He's never been fired. He's never been sacked from a job. He leaves because he wants to go to the next step of his learning, his next step of his journey. So there's nothing but positives when it comes to the psychological, the mentality, and the aura. So that is massive. That is massive. You know, it's what we need. Other positives, he wins everywhere he goes. Everywhere he's been, he's won trophies. And he's done it on a budget. So there's a lot of positives that comes with this guy. And the football is good. The football's very good, actually. So it's tick, tick, tick. The concerns, I'm not going to call them negatives, the concerns. He's never done it in the big boy league. You know, this is the billionaire playground, the Premier League. You got the giants of financial backing in football. Man City, Newcastle, Man United are wealthy as hell. Arsenal have got money. Stan Kroenke's loaded. And these clubs spend money. Chelsea, insane spending powers. So he's never had to deal with that. And he's never managed in a league up against the absolute heavy hitters of management. Pep, Klopp, Poch, who's come back. Is he a heavy hitter? He's someone we wanted. So Arteta's on the up. Eddie Howe's doing bits. And he's going to be financially backed really well, especially with Champions League football. Unai Emery, season pro in Europe. So there's some big game managers he's up against, and there's some big boy financial owners of clubs in this league. It's a different ball game, and that's the big concern, isn't it? Can you make this step? I think from Australian club football to Australian national team seems a simple progression. Then to Japanese football, simple progression. To the Scottish League, I think, yeah, the progression makes sense. This is a big jump. This is probably the biggest jump he's ever had to make. My other concern is we're a fucking mess, man. Let's have it right. We're a mess. We're a mess. Absolute joke. Half this squad is finished. Doesn't matter what system, strategy you set up. They can't play it. They can't play any system. They're hopeless. We're probably going to lose our best player, which means all his goals need to be replaced and his creativity. We don't have creativity. The defense is absolutely spent. We don't have a director of football. Maybe Scotland will be the director of football. We're not in Europe. We're craving for trophies. It's toxic. If he starts losing games quick and people like Poch hit the ground running, it's going to turn toxic at Spurs very quickly. He's got so much going against him in going into this job, and that concerns the hell out of me. Reality check, though, and I'll wrap it up because I know Ashmatic wants to speak. Reality check is this. It don't matter what he's done in the past, good, bad, ugly. It don't matter what my concerns are, what the positives are. It doesn't really mean much because the reality is this. Whether it's him, Klopp, Pep, Arne Slot, Ryan Mason, whoever it is as manager at Spurs, you have to replace the goalie, pretty much the entire defence, find creativity in midfield, and bring in someone that's going to score the goals that Kane scores. Might have to take two players. It doesn't matter who you bring in. All those areas need fixing. And if you think you can develop the players we currently got to fix all these problems and the academy kids are going to come in and just do the job, you're fucking clueless about football. You're literally either just, sucking on the Levy dick, probably going to get demonetized for that, or you're just deluded, man. Absolutely heads gone. We need the goalies cannot play his way. They can't play any way. The defense can't play any system. In fact, the defense is the biggest problem. How can you score 3 goals at Anfield and lose 4-3? It's insane. 5-0 down in Newcastle. What was it, like 15 minutes? We lost to Brighton, then a Bournemouth at home, Brentford at home. They're coming to our ground and banging in 3 goals, both teams. So I don't care what style, what good. He has to be backed. And this is what it's going to come down to for me. If the board don't do exactly what he says, he's cooked. We're cooked. If he says, listen, you got to sell Kim Min-sung, or Harry Kane doesn't work for my system, he can't press. If they don't sell the players that he says, and the players committee go to Daniel Levy and say, hi, Daniel, we've had a players committee meeting. We're not sure about this guy. And then Daniel's like, look, just keep them for now. If we go down that road, we're fucked. So if he says, get rid of Kane, get rid of Son, or get rid of Højbjerg, get rid of Romero, get rid of whoever, you've got to get rid of them. We're hoping he says, get rid of Dyer, Sanchez, Cess, all these players, yeah? And if he says, look, I need this type of player, don't be doing no club signing. I need this kind of player. And that's what it's going to come down to, guys. Good, bad, positive, concerns, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, reality check. He has to be backed by the board, and that means they do what he says regarding the squad. If that don't happen, Mahri, that don't happen, Ashmatic, we're going to be watching West Ham lift in the Europa Cup next year, whilst we're going to be replacing West Ham in a relegation battle. I'm telling you, it's going to be peak. That's how I look at it.
Ash, Big Ange, Big Papa is in the house.
Big Papa. I like that. B.I.G.
B.I.G.
I like to call him Pastor Post. You know what I mean? Reverend Pastor. He's got a look about him. I don't know. You know, like you shouldn't really judge people on their appearances, or like you should, you know, judge them on what comes out of their mouth. He's just got that look, like he's got that kind of hard man, kind of like you wouldn't want to see him down in the dark alley, or you wouldn't want to like get on the wrong side of him in the pub or somewhere like that. You see what I'm trying to say? He's got that kind of man's man about him, and I kind of like that. He's got that kind of like, he hasn't got that flip flop kind of look about him. You know, like some people, like a Mason with his floppy hair, like might be their best friend. Do you know what I'm saying? Worked with Kane for a long time. Do you know what I'm trying to say? He's got none of that. And from what I've been reading and what I've been seeing, some of those quotes, he doesn't care. He's like, bro, I don't want to bring, I'm not there to be their mate. I'm not there to be their best friend. I'm not there to bring flowers to their wives. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm here to be the coach. I'm here to be the boss. And a lot of things I was reading about him, they were saying how they like lots of ex-players or people that were around him, they knew nothing about him. They knew nothing about him. So I kind of like he keeps that kind of respectful distance between himself and the people that are underneath him. So there's like no kind of like, they've got that slight fear. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So that slight respect. But also on the other side, I've heard lots of positive things about ex-players saying how they love him. You know, they run through a brick wall for him. So I think he's just got that kind of balance. You see what I'm trying to say? Like as a leader, when I look at some of our leaders on the pitch, like I'm like, I can't even tell you who our captain should be. You see what I'm trying to say? But with Ange, he's come in and he looks like the boss. You know what I'm trying to say? He looks like he just looks like the man. I can't lie to you. That's one thing I'll say about him. I like the fact that he doesn't compromise as well. Similar to Conte, doesn't compromise on his style. Like this plan A is plan A, and that's it. You better just get used to it. And
let me stop you right there, Ash, right? Because I was going to...
How come they step on me? Huh? I'm joking. Go on. I'm going. Got it. Go.
I didn't want to lose this point because I'm glad you mentioned it, you know, kind of like Conte and Jose, right? With these players, right? Tough man, bad man, out, you out, you out, you out, you out, you out. And the players got rid of the manager. Poch lost, Jose lost, Nuno definitely lost. Conte lost. You know, I like the fact that he's tough, no nonsense. But I've heard this spiel before. I've been there before, and it's like okay, I've heard this before. I kind of want to see it in action. You know, like scorch earth. You know, remember Conte said he will kill someone. Remember he said if someone doesn't desire or something like that, I would kill him. And we were all getting our jizz off, like, yeah. And Conte got killed off. The players committee won. So, I mean, I hope he does that, but I mean, do I have a right to feel like I've been to that song and dance before?
So the thing is, like, if you look at all the top managers, right, you're looking at Pep. Does he have a plan B? Klopp. Does he have a plan B? Even like Arteta. Does he have a plan B? Like, I'm talking about the top 4 managers at the moment that were in the top 4. They don't have plan Bs. They have their philosophy and they stick to their guns because they 100% believe in their source. They know it works. And he said, right, if plan A doesn't work, you do plan A much better. And I like the fact that he just came with that energy where he wants them to die on the pitch, work hard. Similar what we heard with Conte, I must admit. But I think the only difference I would say is that he said that when it comes to his philosophy, which is attacking football, he wants to get back to playing football that players enjoy. So if his players don't enjoy that style of football, he doesn't want them anywhere near the club, which that's something I thought, okay, that's slightly different. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And then also when he was at previous clubs, and I know we're in a different ownership, but I just think back to Poch. When Poch came in, he got rid of a bag of man. He just got rid of a bag of players. So I'm just hoping, it's a small glimmer of hope in me that he will get that same opportunity just to clear out who he wants to clear out. You see what I'm trying to say? Before even we get to the players coming in, he's going to be able to say, nah. And the last club that he was at, there was a few first teamers that were like, mainstays. He got rid of them because they didn't suit his ideologies. Even now, I'm hearing we're linked to like players like Maguire. You're probably going to get back to that later on the show, but I heard we're linked to Maguire, and I heard something like Maguire age profile isn't quite what he kind of wants. That's what I read. I don't know if that's true or not, but I kind of like that kind of style. Like he wants players that are going to run for him, that are hungry and like to play the style and believe in his philosophy. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's some of my positives for Ange. My negatives, I look at, even though it was his first season in Celtic, I look at when he played in Europa League, and I think it was Bayer Leverkusen was in the same group as him, and I think it was Benfica. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, basically he won 3 out of those 6 games, and he lost the other 3, I think it was.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a cause for concern because I'm trying to compare him to the level where I think he needs to be at against, like maybe like a.
Ash, do you know what though? Sorry to interrupt you. Just no. Just on the Champions League thing, right? That just came down to quality of player because I watched the game where they played Real Madrid. They were popping
fantastic
Madrid, toe to toe.
Yeah,
and if they had a Harry Kane or a Heung-min Son or someone of,
they'd score 3.
Yeah, so I think that just came down to quality of player.
I was gonna get to that because the Europa was the first season, so I'm just trying to, second season was Champions League, and I agree with you. The second season when he was in Champions League in that group stage, he only got 2 draws out of that, and that was against Shakhtar Donetsk, and the other draw was against RB Leipzig, and the other games he lost. And I agree, the quality obviously of players wasn't of that level, but again, he did dominate. And Matt, you know what? It's a familiar theme as well. I'll be honest with you. Wherever he's gone, lost games. I think it was against Australia. He's a manager for Australia in the World Cup. And then he had Spain that was in his group. Yeah. He just won the cup, the last cup, which is the European Cup. And then I think he had Netherlands that were in the final with them. So they were all in the same group, and he had Chile. So even though he didn't win a single game, again, back to Stell's point, they still played attacking football and they still played well. And that's when he got his dues and his respect, because I think it was against Holland when they lost 3-2. But all the pundits were raving about him, like, look at this Aussie team, he still played well. It was a young Aussie team as well because he had the job to get rid of all the old guard, like your Harry Kewells and Osmonds and players like that. He had to get rid of the kind of old guard and bring through the youth, and he managed to do that, and he still galvanized them. So, yeah, I take that point on board, but I'm trying to look for things where I can measure him because I don't want to be stereotypical and say, Japan, he's managing Australia, or he's managed in Scotland. It depends what quality you have around you at the end of the day, but you have to measure him somehow, some way. And I just want to be somewhat balanced, in my opinion, and look at some of the potential things. I don't want to get over excited and think, oh yeah, it's going to be great. And also another thing as well, he tends to start slow. I think it was his first stint in the J League with Yokohama. I think that was the name of the team. Mm-hmm. They finished 12th in their first season, and I start to think, if we finish 12th in our first season, will our fans give us that amount of patience? I probably think not. They'll probably call his head, because if we play like Arsenal and we get peppered, or we get beaten by Chelsea and Pochettino slides on his knees and does that or something like that, and then we lose 3 or 4 games in the trot, I don't know if the fans will have the patience. So that's my reservations, just the patience of the fan base. But apart from that, I'm all for it. I'm happy to see the goalkeeper, new centre backs, back four. I'm looking to see the midfielders that bomb forwards. I'm looking to see wingers actually be wingers and not get to the byline and cross it, because I think that was the problem before, where we were relying on our wing backs for creativity, and those wing backs were crossing, hanging the ball into the box, and defenders found it easier to kind of defend those type of balls into the box. So I would like my wingers to be wingers, basically, and be in that position. So yeah, that's how I see it, to be fair. Go on, Stel, go on.
Ash, can I ask you something, Ash? Aren't you a little bit worried though? When Mourinho came, Spurs fans said winning mentality. He signed Joe Hart. He's a winner, and he signed this player, and he's a winner, and he's signing winners. It's a winning mentality, and okay. And then Nuno came in. Let's give him a chance. Everyone deserves a chance. Okay. And then in comes Jose, serial winner. He's won everywhere. Conte came in. He's elite. Yeah, Conte. He's current. He's relevant now. Mm-hmm. He's not a dinosaur. Mm-hmm. He's and now, love the style of football. Love the energy, and he's done good stuff. Aren't you concerned? We find anything to hype about. And then, by the way, I'm all right with Ange Postecoglou, just in case someone knows. I'm just asking, because a lot of people say all this hype stuff, whereas I'm just saying straight up, if we don't get rid of the shit players, and if we don't bring in the kind of quality to sort out this mess, I don't care who's the manager.
Yeah, the guy isn't a miracle.
For me personally, sorry to cut you, just the one thing I will say about him, when he did bring those players in, I know it was a lower league, but I just saw that he could work on a budget and bring in the players that he wanted, and he can get them to work for him. So I'm just thinking, Levy bringing him in, that might be a marriage convenience, because if he likes youngsters and he likes to work with players that aren't 60 million or 50 million here or 70 million. I'm not saying that we won't go for a few 30 or 40 million players here and there, but I think if the budget's a bit within means or a bit more realistic, and he's got a wealth of knowledge where he thinks this player I want to go for, then I've got, just like I said, a glimmer of hope. Just looking at his prior jobs that he had before. Even with the Australian youth setup, he was working with the Australian youth setup before he went to the Australian national team, and they were having a go at him on the media. Everywhere he's gone, they have a go at him, saying, "Oh, you're not good." And I think he was 30s. I think he was in his 30s, and he was having a massive argument on TV in the 90s. And I said, "You're no good. You're blah 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 blah." And he's like, "Look, You judge me. Give me 1 year and judge me at the end of the year. But basically, he wasn't in charge of the actual team. He was in charge of bringing the gateway from the academy to the first team, and he did that excellent. And that's when they recruited him as the main Australian manager, because they saw the work he did with the youth, because it was time to kind of change things around. So I just keep hearing youth, young players, this, that, and I'm just hoping, not to say he's going to work with our academy, but I'm just saying I'm hoping that he recruits younger players on a budget that Levy or the board could work with. So it just gives me small hope. Do you know what I mean? I'm not getting gassed. I'm just saying, like, the first season he normally starts slow, which I'm happy. I'm with it. So, but I don't know if the fans are. I'm happy to stay like 8th. I'm not saying, Rob, we're gonna get top 6, or you know what I'm trying to say. I'm saying, Rob, within our means, if he gets the players he wants and they run through a brick wall for him, and the way he looks, like I said, he looks like he looks like that. What's that guy? Chopper. He looks like a chopper. You know, Chopper Raid. He looks like that type of character with a shotty. Like he might have a shotty in his locker room. I don't know, but yeah, he looks like he shouldn't mess with him. And that's how I.
He just looks like my Uncle Steve.
Oh, is it?
If I'm honest with you, runs a fish and chip shop.
By the way, Andrew Bell, what a comment. It's a shame to think Emerson Palmieri has more trophies than Kane. No hate intended, just a point.
I used to go to a fish and chip shop, which was run by a Greek man as well. Funny enough.
Standard.
That's why I'm laughing so hard.
Outside this perspective, Big Ange coming to Tottenham. What's your what do you think is a good hire? I mean, Pep said some glowing words of Big Ange and said this will be good for Tottenham.
Yo, I think this guy's brilliant, honestly. I'm not trying to get you guys too gassed, but this guy is he's a real deal. He's a real deal. If this is a huge if Levy can just take his hands off of just even a little bit less, like don't do the Maguire BS, just let the guy do his thing. You guys could be like a good cup team in like a year, and you get the players out that you need to get out, and you could bring in some of the players that, you know, are on my radar, for example, right? The cheap ones from other leagues in and around Europe or MLS or South America or whatever. I think this guy is the real deal. The football he plays is terrific. The character of the guy is something that no one has said a bad word about, like genuinely no one. Like you said, Mahri, honestly, the guy you know what Pep said about him, he's impressed, and he's like, there's another good manager coming to the league. Yeah, I think he's quality, man. And you know what the best thing about this is that Postecoglou loves a challenge. He loves a challenge. And I know you guys, I know Spurs, not throughout the 23 years. I know what's happened and all that. I haven't lived it or whatever, but in terms of this bozo Levy, I mean, it is a challenge. It is a challenge. Make no bones about it. But this guy he likes a challenge, and so I'm not surprised he ended up at Tottenham, to be honest. So, hey, that's his style. He doesn't do things the easy route. And I think maybe you could get a cup in the next 3-4 years if you keep him. I genuinely think that, because the way he gets the fans connected with the players and the way his players play for him, if you just bring in guys that are dedicated solely to this way, I think I genuinely, I think you guys could do a little bit of something. You can do what West Ham did tonight, right? I think you could win a Europa Conference League or an FA Cup or a Europa League, or maybe, you know, something like that. It's gonna be hard. It ain't gonna be easy. Like I said, it's a huge if Levy keeps his grubby ass hands off of it. He probably won't. But hopefully what Ange will do for you guys is hopefully what Ange will do for you guys is even if he buys Maguire, he's just going to be like, I ain't playing you. I don't care. I don't care if you bought me him. I ain't playing you. And so that might lead to some clashes with Levy. So that's what I am nervous about. What I'm nervous about is the fact that this guy is going to do things his own way. And he isn't going to, like, if you guys are looking good as a cup team, but not as a league team. And if Levy don't like that, there could be problems there.
Well, Levy's going to want top 4. He's going to want. Listen, we've got Spurs fans like Chris Cowlin going on Sky Sports and on his channel telling the world that we've got to get top 4 next year. That's the target. And I'm just thinking, you must inject the Levy vaccine. You must be taking the Levy vaccine. There's no other way around this. Top 4 next year.
It's not possible.
Who are we going to replace? City? No. Arsenal? I doubt it.
Newcastle?
United?
No.
And Newcastle? They're already ahead of us and they're going to spend big. Chelsea are going to be back. Liverpool, I think, will be top 4 next year somehow. I don't see how Spurs get top 4 next year. I think fans who think that's the expectation, they're just taking the Levy vaccine.
Yeah. And ultimately I think that's what's going to be Ange's downfall, right? I don't think he is going to get sacked because he does a bad job. I think he will get the sack because of just Levy's tendencies.
I think
if he's allowed to succeed, he will.
I have
no doubt about that. I have no doubt about that.
I think the good news is that, and I'll say this, because I'll give my thoughts on Ange. I like the hire because of the fact that he plays attacking, progressive football. I would have been happy with any other manager that plays that. The particular manager I did not want, and I said this in numerous channels, I did not want Luis Enrique because we just had a Luis Enrique.
Right.
Conte and Jose. This club has clearly says we are not going to back a big manager. So I don't want Luis Enrique a year later bitching and moaning about not having tiki-taka players. I don't want that. I'm tired of it. Right. And so Big Ange was a refresher for me. And my expectations are very low, little to none. And so when I hear top 4, I'm like, we're going to struggle for top 8. I honestly think we're going to finish 10th or 11th, which is not bad as long as we start seeing little elements.
Progression
of see is football. So I would be satisfied with that. But here's the thing, because it's not 23 years for me. It's 23 years for Stell. It's 23 years for I'm 13 years old, but for the 13 years, right, I know that the man who pulls the strings, right, is he truly going to allow Big Ange to flourish? Do I let Andrew in? You send the invite.
Andy Bell, yeah.
Andy Bell?
I think he's a Newcastle fan, isn't he?
Yeah, he's my boy.
Yeah, Andrew's cool.
Andy.
To have pick up Andy.
Hey guys.
Have his claw within the club and pull the strings. Like I said, when Ash mentioned, he's going to house. No one's gonna mess with him. This is like post-traumatic Levy disorder. For me, it takes time. I have to see it to believe it. So it's going to take time because this team has a lot of work. We're going to talk about this. A lot of work to do. We're going to talk about his style and the players that we have and the players that we need, how it's going to fit Big Ange style. That's why we have to get the competition, Ash and stuff tonight. But overall, I'm okay with the hire and I'm back Big Ange. But like I said, I have no expectations because genuinely bored. I'm just sorry. I just got to see it. I got to see it progress. And as things progress, my confidence goes up. And it doesn't have to be top 8. It could be 12. As long as I see progress, then I will be happy. Do I believe there will be progress? I do not know. If I did, I would be winning the lotto right now as we speak. But so I want to get to our next topic. Andrew's in the house. What do you think Tottenham's hire Big Ange? What's your opinion?
Sorry, you were breaking up a little bit there. Sorry, you said Tottenham something.
He was asking you about Postecoglou hired for Spurs.
Yeah, I mean, you can only judge him on what he's actually done so far. I mean, it doesn't matter what level you're at. Winning's winning. Is in my eyes, winning's winning. He's done a treble. And I think if Tottenham, I heard you saying 5 minutes ago, you know, it's a worrying situation for Tottenham. Chelsea aren't going to drop off. Liverpool are going to come strong next season. Are you going to displace the likes of Newcastle, Arsenal? I think one thing that you can take from tonight is an average Premier League side have just won a European trophy, and you're ahead of them. You are miles ahead of, let's be honest, West Ham. Ability-wise in the squad, it's just a mindset that you need, and hopefully that's the new manager to bring that mindset.
Yeah, true. Hit the likes, people. Andy, I actually, you know what? Are they ahead because Declan Rice is going to be leaving them, or do you think like?
But they're ahead already. You look at over a 38-game season in a competitive league, regardless of how inconsistent Tottenham have been, they're still better than West Ham.
Yeah, except the trophy part.
Yeah, that's why it's so frustrating sitting here as a Newcastle fan, knowing that you're so well ahead and you just won a trophy. You'd rather take the Europa League and win it and go to the Champions League and probably get knocked out before the knockout stages. You know, we don't know what's going to happen next season. So, not to bring Newcastle into it, I'm just using it as a
barometer. Yeah.
Spurs fans are deluded though. They dismiss things because they think we're bigger than it. The reality is, Conference League, Europa Cup is our level. That's what we are.
Yeah.
Other than a good 5 years under Pochettino getting Champions League, that's what we were. That's what we are. We're just back to what we were before. This is Martin Joel times now, you know. So I don't understand. I mean, I have a big issue with our fan base. I think they've probably got a big issue with me as well, to be fair. But I can't stand it. We don't want Conference League. I don't want that Mickey Mouse competition. So what do you want then? You don't want Conte. You don't want Jose. You don't want this guy. You don't want Conference League. What do you want to win the Premier League? Good luck.
I dare to say, if you still have Mourinho in charge, you would be in West Ham's situation this season. I honestly do think that.
Fans don't know what they want, Spurs. They don't, you know, they dismiss everything and anything. I guarantee you, this Postecoglou guy is going to come in. He's going to want to buy 3 or 4 players. A couple of them, maybe 3 of them, maybe all of them will be 10 million, 15 million pound. We won't have any of these players. And everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, what is this? Oh my god!"
Steve budget signings from freaking Asia or Latvia or wherever. That's what the first 4 Spurs signings are gonna.
Apparently, they've been linked with a striker from Celtic, the Japanese lad. Yeah,
he's got a motor, man. He's got a motor.
That Portuguese player they signed, Jota, he looks really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Matt O'Reilly as well, the midfielder. I like him a lot. He gets busy with it, and
I know it's a bit off subject, but do you think that's Declan Rice's last game?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, they did from himself. We're kind of, I guess, build on this.
Do you know what? When you win a trophy with a club, sometimes it just makes you want to stay there. You know.
That's true.
It's a perfect way to leave, though.
There's going to be a lot of love and alcohol in that dressing room tonight, and that's
yeah.
A contract in front of him tonight, man. He'll sign it.
Definitely.
I'm going to pop up.
I hope me and Dad Guzzi's in London tonight. That's all I'm saying.
Mate, did you see the interview of Antonio at the end of the match? He goes, they go, what, how you feel? He goes, I don't care. As long as there's alcohol in front of me tonight, I'm good.
I love Antonio, man. I love him.
That sounds like a normal Friday, doesn't it? Let's be honest.
It's just on a Friday out.
So, I'm gonna pop up this picture, and it's gonna get an action.
Let's see, I mean,
Makeover Spurs edition.
You're gonna need one.
A lot of deadwood. We have a lot of dead weight. We just got a lot of dross on this team. We can't get rid of all of them. So, but before we talk about get rid of them, we need to know what type of players that we're going to need. I was going to start with Stella and go to Ash. Stella, in your research and looking at Ange, again, successfully done at Celtic, Australia, or even the G League. What are we looking at from a defensive standpoint? What are we looking at forward? What are we looking at from a midfield standpoint in regards to his setup and what he likes to play?
Hard-working players is a must, and they have got to be prepared to run their socks off, and they've got to be quick players. I don't mean quick as in the speed they run, the quick as in decision done, do it. So when I look at this squad, Ben Davies is finished, Dyer's finished, Sanchez is finished. I think Romero will be fine. I don't know why people slag him off so much. I think he'll be fine. I actually think Emerson Morale might be okay, believe it or not. Porro, he'll be fine.
Tegaga will be finished. I'm sorry.
Do you know what?
He's the most slowest brother that I know, man. I'm just saying, he is, man. He won't cut it. There's no hate towards Tegaga. I'm just more, I can't believe it, man. The guy had
for me, Mahri, all the youngsters at the club that haven't had enough game time, I think they're all going to get a proper chance, right? So I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50 with Tanganga. I think Højbjerg might be all right because he does play the ball forward and set things up once in a while. It's just whether or not he can do it often, not just dilly-dally. But listen, Skip's going to surprise everyone, but I've always defended Skip. I think everyone's going to be surprised by him. Bissouma, I think he'll be fine.
It's strange to think, isn't it? One of the type of player that you're missing this season is a player that you've got out on loan in Dombele. I'm not saying Dombele is the player that you need, but he's exactly the type of player you need.
Problem is, he won't work hard enough. That's the problem. He's not going to have him. Richarlison will work hard, but he can't play football.
I think Lo Celso might be a guy where, like, for example, when Eddie Howe took over, I didn't think that there was anything left in Joelinton. I thought there was nothing left. You know what I'm saying? With Lo Celso, he's not starting at zero. He's done okay at best in a Spurs shirt. I think though
I just think his attitude. It's
Chelsea.
Yeah, it's his attitude that.
Why is Dyer getting in the side though? I mean, as an outsider, I mean, he lives up to his name. I'm sorry. I mean, God Almighty. Sometimes I watch him, I think to myself, God, I'm glad I'm not a Spurs fan having that. I really do. And that's not me trying to have a dirty dig or anything on the channel or anything like that. That's just me being honest about the player.
Diabolical. I mean, Eric Dyer is, Dyer.
No, he's rubbish, man. He's rubbish. He's proper rubbish. This talk of
That's
do you know what, Murray? Murray, I can't tell you what player. I can't tell you what player because the reality is the manager's got to assess the players for the way he wants to do it, right? There might be players that we are doubting that might actually be able to play the way he wants. So all I'll say is this. If they don't work their ass off and they don't play forward playing football in 2 or 3 touches and they can't do that, they are not going to last in this team. Now, who those players are, we're going to find out, but that's how it's going to be played with this guy. So
Yeah, I've heard he was a hard ass. Like, yeah, I've watched a football podcast about an ex-player that was, I can't remember the name of the ex-player. I'm sorry, and they said he's minute to detail is very, very tight, and he's a workhorse. He doesn't accept anything other than your best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a proper manager.
Which
Absolutely.
is surely the bare minimum for a manager. You've got to accept, So
when you've got players like Richarlison that he's looking to go to ground, he's looking to win a penalty, he's not going to tolerate that. That's not working hard. That's not hard work, man. That's you're slacking with that shit.
Yeah, he's not going to like that at all. Yeah, I think personally, because he wants to play pressing football, it depends on the actual players itself. But I know he hasn't got a lot of size to him, but I think Brian Hill, because he's young and he's quick, he likes to press a lot. He might be the kind of player that might get a chance if Brian Hill wants to stay here, of course, because obviously when it comes to, he might want to go back to Seville. Like, I don't know, but I just looking at some of his attributes, maybe not so much on the wing, but maybe like in the middle, possibly. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's quite busy. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was given a chance. Son's going to be out on the wing. Can't hear you. Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Whoever else was talking over my Ashmack, it was crackly.
Yeah, I can't hear what they were saying. But yeah, basically, I think the players that he wants, I think he plays with 2 8s. And in our actual, I can't even hear that guy, It's mad. You might have to log out and come back in. But yeah, because he plays with 2 8s.
I'll put it on mute.
Yeah, it's put me off.
Mahri, it's mute. It's okay, he's on mute. Yep, sorry, mate.
Yeah. So basically, I think with the 2 8s, it's coming in again. Yeah, so basically, I think the way he wants to play, he wants 2 8s, and one of them slightly more advanced than the other. So one of them is kind of like link play, and the other one kind of like is closer to the front 3. And then he likes to play when in possession. He likes to play with a 2-3-5. Am I right? Or from what I understand, anyway, a 2-3-5 in possession. So when we're in the opponent's half, it's 2 centre backs, and then the 1-6 or 1 centre midfielder, and then the 2 fullbacks. They tuck in to make the 3, and then it's the wingers and the 8s that push up to make the 5 with the front 3. And I just think we're missing a slightly more attacking number 8, if that makes sense. And I agree with you, Stel. He does like players that are quick upstairs. He likes 1-touch, 2-touch football. And that just brings me back to the good old days when he likes to pass with purpose. Unlike Man City, but Man City might recycle the ball a lot and hold on to possession. But with Big Ange, he likes to pass it forwards, and he wants to pass with speed. So 1-touch, 2-touch, make little triangles. You might have 2 or 3 players on one side. One of the midfielders might pull wide just to create a triangle with the fullback and the winger, just to create a little triangle to overload on one side. And hopefully we can see a lot of that. But I just think in terms of what we need, I think we need to go in the market for those type of players. I'm not sure. I know you said that you think Skip's got it in him. I'm not sure if he's got that like attacking 8. As an attacking 8, I'm not sure if he's got like that many goals in him, if that makes sense. I'll be interested to see them further forwards, but just, yeah. Go on.
Ashmatic, do you remember against Chelsea where he's come forward, chested interception and volleyed it top corner against Chelsea at home?
Yeah, I would love to see that a lot more. Right. That's the only time I kind of saw it over the season.
I think that this manager will get him pushing higher up. I think he'll get Basuma dropping deeper and playing the through balls from deep, penetrating the defence into the front 3. And I think Højbjerg will be doing something similar. And I think that when I watch Pape Sarr play, the one thing I love about Pape Sarr, he always looks for a forward pass, man. He's always thinking like if you look at the goal,
I think he gets in.
If you look at the goal we scored at Leeds United, he's in midfield and he didn't just clear it; he's headed it into the runner up the wing. I forgot who it was the third or fourth goal he scored.
Probably Porro.
That's
on the
it.
right. Yeah,
because he's headed it out wide. But a lot of midfielders might just clear it, but he's looked to create his clearance into a pass, and I'm thinking he gets it. Like Pape Sarr gets it, and if someone can just tell him that's okay to keep doing that, I think we might be pleasantly surprised, but I don't think all the midfielders will crack it though. Maybe Skip will be the one that falls by, but I don't know.
It could be Højbjerg because Højbjerg sometimes he dribbles and he kind of doesn't take that responsibility on himself to be front-footed. Sometimes he wants to kind of point and say, "You do this, you do that," instead of making that hard pass. So sometimes it's a pass on, but he shies away from it because it's like a tight angle or it's not easy to thread through. He might want to pass it back or sideways and start again. And I know Ange doesn't really tolerate that.
Look, if Eddie Howe can get half of that Newcastle squad that was dead playing football, then there's no reason why a good manager can't get some of our players playing better than what they've played. Doesn't mean that's the answer.
I agree.
Players at this club are definitely be playing better. And you saw Eddie Howe do it in Newcastle, man. Like
if Joe Linton's getting in the Brazilian squad, Harry Winks can do a job for you.
I thought Willock had a great season for you guys.
You know what? A lot of people have written Harry Winks off, yeah? And I just
now you've lost me. Now you've lost me.
No, wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Hold on.
It's gone up now,
Hear me out, my brothers. Hey,
boy.
Listen, allow me. Hear me out. You see Harry Winks here? I just don't think he's a good player in that defensive midfielder role, in that double pivot role where he used to play with.
No, you're right.
Either
he's crap. He's
not
holding me.
Or Dembele or whoever was with him. He just wasn't that guy. He's too weak, too feeble. I think he was in that, he's meant to be not a 10, but further up the pitch because he's got a pass in him. But more time because he was so.
He was an attacking mid in the academy. In the academy, he was an attacking mid.
He remains from your Dewsbury Hall at Leicester.
I don't know. I just don't know. Like Winks is. I'm not saying he's the answer. I'm just saying I think from what I saw, I thought he was played at the wrong position. And Poch used to call him, what's it called? Miniesta or something like that. Winksiesta, some madness like that. For God.
If Winks comes to Spurs and completely turns it around, and completely turns it around, I swear on my life, I will buy at the end of the season a Spurs kit. I will give Levy money, and on the back, I'm gonna put Winks. And I'm gonna wear it. I swear
with a big eyeball at the back of this.
Winks is my number one.
Ash, you get a grilled.
On the subject of players that haven't really lit up for you this season, how are you feeling about potentially having to keep Richarlison if Harry Kane leaves? And what I'm saying is, hypothetically, if he leaves, will Richarlison stay? If Harry Kane stays, will Richarlison leave?
Richarlison can press. That's the only good thing about him. He can press.
I don't think Richarlison will leave. They spent too much money on him. They spent way too much money on Richarlison. Yeah. But like you said, he falls over way too much. And that's part of his game. Like literally, he wants to win fouls high up the pitch. And he looks at the ref and then the ref doesn't give it. Then what?
Fabian Shaw's made a career of that for us this season. He's getting away with it a little bit. As much as I'm a Newcastle fan, we have been guilty of the accusations at times this season of dark arts, let's be honest. I think sometimes Fabian Shaw spends more time on his back than Mia Kofia, but so there's players that sometimes do it to slow the game down, and then there's players that do it to generally know when to do it to stop an attack. And I think it's been used too much nowadays just to stop the flow of the game. It's today, even the first 15 minutes was just dreadful. Players falling over all the time. It's getting to the point where what we're going to do, we're going to be within 15 centimeters of each other and then start having a problem. It's getting a little bit worrying in my eyes. I don't know whether you agree. I just think the games start. I mean, the handball rule is just a joke. Let's be honest. We've seen the FA Cup final one with Grealish. As much as I don't like Grealish, it's not a penalty. Today, I think you can understand why they're giving the penalty, but it's harsh. And it's only the law that you look at, but the law's wrong. And then you've got players falling over, and it's just Ben Rama. I mean, what's Ben Rama doing there? He's good bit of skill, get around the player. Yes, he's put his foot across you, but at least let him bring you down. Don't make him bring you down, if that makes sense. Sad.
Yeah, they need to change some of the rules, though. Some of the rules are just
Silly.
they've just taken the natural movements that you can't avoid out of the game. Like if you're jumping up, no, you can't jump like that. You need your hands for balance. It's just
it's true. It's a joke.
The Celtic fan, we put the link on the chat. Just click on the link, and we'll get you on. So we posted it on there to that Celtic fan. You can come on, jump on the stream. We'll like to get your big Ange.
so, Mahri, Andrew,
take over.
if you go into settings and go into audio,
Yeah.
at the bottom you'll see a little mic volume arrow. Just take the mic volume down to about 100 because it's really loud, your mic.
Yeah, some things I'm missing because it's so loud.
I'll have a look, mate. Not a problem.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just it's always technical issues on all these streams.
Might be me Geordie Gob as well, man, to be fair.
So we talk about his style. So there is I think this is the Celtic fan. Okay.
Now Corey Boy's a Brighton fan.
He's a Brighton fan. Okay, we'll take an outsider. Boy, welcome. Brighton fan.
I get called a Brighton fan.
You're a Brighton fan?
No, I'm Spurs first, but I have a soft spot for my Brighton down here.
Okay. Oh wow, my audio's bad? Is my audio bad?
Pardon?
Is my audio bad?
Yeah,
We got technical issues all over the place.
Let me
Mari, I think you've put the link in the chat to get the Celtic guard. Now everyone's jumping on.
All right.
I'll let you get some people on. Thank you very much for having us, guys.
Andrew, take care, bro.
All the best. Take care. Good luck next season.
Bye.
Cool.
Big up.
Anyway, hi. Been a while.
Just waiting for it to happen.
How's my mic?
It's a bit echoey.
Big echoey. All right, I'm gonna come out. Yeah, Haz, you can jump on, Haz. You can jump on.
It sounds all right now, actually.
It does sound all right now.
Yeah, it sounds all right now. Sorry, bro. Stay on.
Okay.
Sorry, my phone was playing silly buggers.
Still bad. It won't be on.
Do you know, Mari, your mic is the internet connection. Your internet connection keeps cutting in and out. That's what it is.
Mine?
Yeah.
It's okay now. It seems okay now, but that's what it was.
Okay. Yeah, so
do you want to laugh at something quickly?
extreme makeover, right? So of course we're gonna need a extreme makeover. There has to be some moves that has to be made, but we can't get rid of anybody. If I told you there was just maybe 6, right? That's 6 people, they have to go. Either come back from loan or getting off. Who are the 6 people?
Who are we starting with?
We'll start with you, Corey Boy. We'll go reverse, counterclockwise, and then we'll go with Leighton. Big up Leighton, and then we'll go to Ash, and then we'll go. I'll do me last, because I'm like get out, and I'm going to come back on. So, Stell, you're in charge until I come back.
I've got more than
Okay.
6 that I want to see gone. There's too many here that's just been around too long now. There's too much of this power player that is stuck in the dressing room. There's too much of a smell in this dressing room now. It's gone stale. We need to start from the back with the goalkeeper that's solid with his feet, can play with the ball. Then we need to look at our centre-backs and go, right, Dyer, you're gone. Davis, you're gone. Rodon, you're gone. Sanchez, you're gone. There's 4 gone. Left back.
Corey, just to let you know, you're only allowed 1 more. He said 6.
All right. I'm just going to start with the whole back 6 then, because the midfield can work. Perisic and Sessegnon. There you go. 6 done. Boom.
All right, that's your 6.
Cool.
Leighton, who's your 6?
Yeah,
Hoiberg.
nice to speak to you, Stel. I'm a big fan of you. I've watched your show for ages. I think you're amazing, Stel. I will say. I agree with 93% of your opinions all the time. I don't know whether it's because of our age, we're close enough, but you're 100%. I've supported Spurs since 81.
Is that like a Sex Panther?
Normally,
all the time.
No, listen. No, big up to you, because normally at the stadium they want to kill me. So it's good online to hear the opposite. But
obviously, you've gathered from my accent. I'm Welsh, and because I'm Welsh, I get people told me, "What are you doing supporting Spurs?" And all that. I've had it all my life, right? Because I supported Spurs
Cliff Jones.
when there was no Spurs supporters around where I am in Cardiff. When Gareth Bale signed with you, then it all come out. And I'm like, well, I've been here for the past 20-odd years. There's none of these. But I'll go back to the question, what you're asking, is I agree with what my man said there. Is obviously the back 4 got to go. I'd say keep the 2 wing backs. I'd keep 2. So the defenders, I need 2 new centre backs. I want a creative midfielder, and I need another CDM. I need another central defensive midfielder. That's what I need as well. And I would go for another striker. And I'm going to go against unpopular opinion, but I think we should cash in on King. Simple as. I know it's his time, and it's time to go. Sorry, I don't believe he's going to be here next. He's going anyway. I believe he's going. But all these fans who believe in themselves and say, no, just let him play for the season and let him go for nothing next year. If he goes for nothing next year, he'll go to a Premier League club. So just sell him now. Let him go to Real Madrid. He can't hurt us.
I think I've got to add to that, though, my friend. You were saying about selling Kane, but then you also got to look at the system that Ange wants to play. Kane really hasn't got the legs for it, nor his son. Then that leaves us with Kulu.
I agree with that. And then we've got to start again. Go bring in two new 23-year-olds or 22-year-olds, unknowns, come in, who will run their legs all day long. But it's going to be painful. You know it's going to be painful. I've watched this show for the past 2 years. It's going to be painful. You know it's going to be painful. But fans who are getting in their head thinking we've got a chance at top 4, top 6, get it out your head. Get it out your head. And then there's no pressure. Then let Ange do what he got to do, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's going to come down to whether Levy lets him do what he's got to do, and whether Levy's got the patience to ride it out. Because as much as we hate them down the road, Arteta finished 8th twice, and the ball didn't flinch. They didn't flinch. We don't know what Levy's going to do. We don't. Well, no, we do. We do know what he's going to do, but we're waiting to see if he's changed. But he never seems to do so. But Ash, who's your 6, man?
Yo, I'd say Lloris, because he said he wants to leave anyway. So we need a goalkeeper to take over long term that can play at the back. I'd say Sanchez, because I think his confidence is shot. I'd say Eric Dyer. I just don't think he's got what it takes to work in the system. Don't think he's got mobility. Don't think he has the speed. Don't think he likes to challenge. 1v1, he's terrible. I think on top of that, I'm going to say Rodon. I'm not sure if Rodon's what we need in that position. So that's 4 players. And then I think Sessegnon as well. Sessegnon, it's just so irritating that even when he was on the pitch, he wasn't producing the goods. And he's always getting some type of niggle, some type of injuries, hamstrings, a toast.
It's the modern day Darren Allen, my friend. It's the modern day Darren Allen.
Pretty much, yeah. Somali Addington, yeah, man. So I think he's got to go. And I'm gonna say something controversial here, guys. I think it's good. Harry Winks. Yeah, I said it. Harry Winks. I think
Stop,
Winks has got to go.
stop.
What's going on? What's going on?
I listen to you on every channel when you talk, right? But you're killing me. You're killing me now. No, you're killing me.
Well, why? Why? Winks can't go. I don't think Winks is good enough.
Do you know why I don't? I tell you why I don't think it's going to work. In fact, why I know it's not going to work for Winks, right? Because from the age of 22 to 26, those important years of his adult development, I think we fucked it for him. And I think Eriksen being better than him just diminished him to being a position that he couldn't play in. And every manager persisted with him being a holding mid. And I think him developing as that more forward player, which is what he should have been, as the academy did, we fucked it. I think we absolutely fucked it for Winks. And now, I mean, at Sampdoria, I think he barely played. And when he did, he was injured. And when he didn't, they went down. And it's just, I don't know. Listen, like I said, look, if you're proven right, I'm buying a Winks top. I'm going to come on the show. I'm going to bust it out Harry Winks. And then we'll talk.
I just named my sixth. Winks was the sixth person, by the way.
Oh, going?
Yeah, going. That was my sixth.
Oh, sorry. I thought. All right, forget my rant.
You said name 6 people that need to go.
And yeah, but the way you said it, we thought he was staying there. The way you were saying
I know, I dropped it nice, didn't it? I dropped it nice.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. Yeah, no, Winks has got to go. Winks has got to go. Yeah, that's my six. That's my six.
Who's your six?
Need to go.
I mean, it's quite similar to Asthmatics, but Dyer number 1, the guy has to go. I can't watch him play another minute for Tottenham. Sanchez, he's just Bambi on ice. Winks, again, he's just useless. Lo Celso, I think he has to go because we're including loan players. Sessegnon, sick note. So is that 4? Is that 5?
4.
4. That's the thing. There's so many to go. Like Davies, I'd say another one, number 5. Yeah, I think his time is up, and probably Lloris.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I did miss super chat. Let me read Sammy's super chat. I'm so sorry. Big up, guys. Come on, Ange. Kick out the dead wood out. And that's what we're talking about. Big up, Sammy. Guys, get your comments in. Get super chats in. Big up. Well. Yeah.
The problem is, like, we wouldn't just get rid of 6. You need to get rid of, like, 10 players.
There's more than 10. I'd say the main bulk of the team you'd probably keep is Romero, Kane, Kulu, and Sonny, with Bentancur, Basuma, and then the rest can go. Fuck them.
No,
sorry, guys.
The problem is you can't get rid of that many players.
Mate, I'm getting cut.
I know. I know by the rules you can't, but in my fantasy I can.
Look at these messages. Look at these messages I'm being sent.
Leighton brings up not Leighton. Sorry. Corey brings up a player I've seen in the channels that have had very. No one's 100% sold. I've heard people say, "Get rid of Kulu. Don't pay that fee." And there are those who say, "No, keep Kulu." So within the fan base, like, because I was gonna say, I was gonna go controversial and actually mention not buying Kulu and using the money for something else,
like a defender.
Like a defender.
The thing with Kulu is he's been out mostly injured this season. He gave us some really good time.
Well, but Mahri, there's no guarantee that Levi will spend that money somewhere else. So with us, we've got to take what we got. We've got him here in our club, so let's use him. Because you can't trust Levy to spend that money somewhere else. He won't. And the only thing that lets Kulu down is his pace. I think everything else, he's spectacular. But he ain't fast. He ain't fast enough. That's the only thing that lets him down. But don't trust Levy. He won't spend that money somewhere else. He won't.
But then you can say that about most of our front three. Kane hasn't got pace and Son's got a tiny bit more than Kane. And when you look at them play, their pressing isn't that great because they're not running.
Yeah, that's our problem. That's what's letting us down. Pace. We need pace, mate. Trust me.
Yeah.
I was going to mention Højbjerg because I'm not saying that someone will, but what if someone says, you know what, he's not that bad. He's banging. Okay? If someone offers, say, 25 for Hoiberg, right, and Leighton is correct, we could sell Hoiberg and leave and not use that money, but I would say that because he has signed a 4-year contract and because of that, he's probably going to give Big Ange a chance to kind of somewhat get his players. If Hoiberg is someone offers 25, do you sell Hoiberg? I would.
No, not for 25.
I feel we'll get more for him.
He's easily 35, 40 million pound player.
Yeah, same.
But
yeah,
he's not got the technical ability to play in Ange's side, and you need to be quick with your decisions.
35 for Hoiberg?
Yeah, 100%. I think Atletico want him and Juventus. The two players.
Weren't Real Madrid linked with him as well? Like earlier in the year.
Yeah, maybe. There's loads of teams that kind of suit his style. That would, they would pay the money for him. They would pay 35, 40 million. They would.
I've got a really controversial take on our defense. So everyone talks about how to calm down Romero and to get him a partner. Yeah. So obviously, I've been doing research on experienced centre halves that we could get, and I know this is a really not really far out thing, but I think we should maybe go for Otamendi because he plays with Argentina. Get someone like him in as an experienced person, and then he's got Premier League experience, yeah. And then bring in someone else like a Laporte as well, because at least Laporte's played with him as well a bit. They've got the City experience. That will be my two defenders in the window.
We need to stop. We need to stop banning guests from coming on the channel. Honestly,
I've been trying to think of things outside the box, yeah. So I thought, let's just buy Otamendi because at least he plays with Romero for Argentina. So
how old is Otamendi? How old is Otamendi?
But that's my point. We need experience. For me, we need experience and a half.
We need defenders that can track back with pace and not get spun with one through ball like Ben Davies does and Dyer does. We've got no pace in that back line.
Nothing. A good point.
But no pace in the whole team altogether, really, have we?
Yeah, I agree.
Laporte, I can understand. Laporte, I get it. He's a bit technical. I can understand Laporte.
But my thinking with Otamendi is that he plays with Romero. So people be saying Romero needs a partner.
So does McAllister, so does Messi, so does a lot of superstar players.
I know, but Otamendi plays with Romero in the back line for Argentina. So there's no excuse after that if Romero still goes off the rails, is there?
Let me this play. Big up to Sava. He mentioned this, and this player, whenever you see Roma plays, he's actually had a good season. And for now, just temporarily, Smalling, Roma.
I thought of him as well, actually, but
Smalling didn't do bad this year. He had a good year with Roma. Kind of
anyone's better than bringing in
permanent, just temporarily.
Because Spurs will go for someone like Guehi at Palace, and Guehi's not going to solve our problems.
I'm going to lose my shit. I'm going to lose my shit. I'm going to lose it.
Amari,
stop! Yeah,
whatever has left is going to come out. We have got the worst defense. I can't talk.
Yeah.
We have got the worst defense I've seen in 20 years. We conceded only the teams that finished in the bottom 4 places conceded more goals than us. And the solution to this problem is Chris fucking Smalling and Otto 35-year-old Mendy. Are we out of our minds, people?
No, but the point.
Is this it? Is this it?
But still, the thinking behind it is to bring some experience in that back line. We want to get relegated.
Forget all of that.
We want to get relegated.
Better than Harry Maguire. Better than Harry Maguire.
Forget all of that.
My toddler's better than Harry Maguire.
I take Smalling over Maguire.
No, guys. I reckon we should get in Tapsoba from Bayer Leverkusen. I think he's a solid defender. He's tall. He's got athletic pace. He's strength. He's got European experience. I think he's a great player. We've been linked with him as well. And even Jonathan Tah from Bayer Leverkusen, tall, big, good in the air as well. So when we're getting counter-pressed or counter-attacked...
There's one problem with Tah, though, when you're looking at it. He's very injury-prone, susceptible to an injury. We don't need another player on the bench for 6 months in a season.
Fair enough. Cool.
I just came in, so I haven't heard from Dale. Who are your 6 players, Dale?
It's not too different from all most of the panels. I mean, it got to be Dyer, Sanchez. I think Lo Celso. I think Lo Celso there's a player in there, but a player who only plays probably 2 months out of a season, whether it's Spurs, Villarreal, and for his country, really. You know, as the cup games, you know, usually go for about a month. He's only good for a month. Let's see. So that's 3. Lloris. Lloris is not out of contract. He still has 1 year, correct?
I think so.
Yeah. So I mean, he got to go. So that's 4. Shit, I had the 6. Rodon. Let's get him out. And then Winks. Unfortunately, you know, that leaves a lot of, you know, Ben Davies. I think we still got 1 good year of Ben Davies, even if you don't consider him good. You know, he's worth keeping on for a year. We'll move him on, you know, type of shit. And Dembele, I think we got to loan him out again if we can. Try him out, you know, because I just don't think you can move, you know, that many people in a season, really. So
I think there's some sort of rule against about how many players you can actually let go. I'm not too sure. I think it needs to be looked up, but
yeah.
I think there's a certain rule on how many players can be sold from one team.
Shit. You know, and then as they're lowering the loan numbers now, I mean, you know, I think players like Sessegnon probably need to go. You know, are we going to give Spence his chance? But I just don't see those happening in this window. I think Sessegnon needs to get loaned out, if not sold. But
send him back to Fulham. Ask for a refund.
Yeah. You know, there might be something in the clause that we don't know. You know,
yeah, refund.
I never wanted him. So
do you know the club wanted him? So I spoke to the coach and the recruitment guys that were looking at Cess at Spurs. They wanted Cess when he was 10 years old. They wanted him and his brother. They were both at Fulham. And the club didn't want to pay to buy him as a 10-year-old. Anyway, as he got older, as a teenager, I think he was 16, 17, they said, look, buy him. And the club didn't want to spend the money. And then they ended up paying 30 million for him. But by then the coaches said it's too late. We've missed the development phase that we wanted him. So they not only did they buy him too late, they paid too much than when they could have bought him when the club said buy him. Everything about Sessegnon signing is just idiotic from every level. It's like they don't listen to the staff at Spurs, the people they employ to do the work. They don't listen to them. The Sessegnon deal it's a mess, man. It's a joke.
Yeah.
Does Perchik have 1 year? Was it a 1 year or a 2 year?
2 years, I think.
Yeah, 2 years.
Oof.
I would use him as a forward. Personally. I would use him as a forward.
But Perisic can't play. He can't play Postecoglou ball, man. He can't.
No way.
I don't know. I think there's a player.
He could be a left midfielder, maybe left wing.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too.
No.
He gets injured too easy. He is made a Weetabix, right?
I think with Perisic, he suffered from
a
tough league at an old age. You know, he was brought in to really only play a quarter of our games. You know, the minute he was our starter for the season, he just lost his legs. He got beat up. It's a physical league. You know, that's not what we brought him in here for. He was just here to pad that left side and not be like a stalwart, you know, left back, you know, left wing back. So, you know, he's talented and he could do a cross. He's a good sub if we need, you know, if we're down 2-1 and we need somebody to come in and fucking start whipping the balls, you know, that's a good person to have, you know, for 20 minutes.
I can see a sub.
Pensioners.
We can't afford luxuries right now. We can't afford luxuries right now, and that's what it is.
We got to stop looking to buy people from Harrods when we can't even afford to shop at Lidl at the moment.
No, we're using. Did you know? I remember. You know, everyone keeps talking about Anderson at Crystal Palace, right?
Yeah.
Do you know something?
Yeah,
I really, you know, I do like him. I actually said we should get him, but do you know what? I've watched back at some videos of him. He seems a bit rash, like Romero. He seems to fly in too much as well.
There was a game. Not against us, but against somebody.
He seemed a bit another hothead.
Yeah, there was a game, same thing. There was a game where I saw him pretty bad. I'm like, I'm glad we didn't get him. And then other games, I saw him kind of step up and be pretty stalwart and physical. But you're right, I can't remember who it was, but I don't think he got a red, but I think he got a penalty late and it was stupid, some shit.
Dude,
like
he's a bit. Do you know which player? I don't know his name because I'm not good with names when it's not Tottenham players. Do you know which player I remember, especially when they came to White Hart Lane? I thought, you know what? You're pretty decent, man, and no one spoke about him because everyone was fascinated with the wing backs. The centre back at Sporting Lisbon, when they come to White Hart Lane, he was solid, man. I don't know his name though.
Do you want
me to Google it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Colwell from Chelsea boy. That plays for Brighton. I think he's quite good. And he's like a left-sided player as well. Got quite height as well. Can play from the back, but good in the air.
Got some rapid pace as
He's
well.
He's got rapid air. I think he's all right.
What about Acuna? Acuna, he got suspended for the final.
Trincao? Oh no, it can't be Trincao, can it?
Acuna.
No, it's not Trincao. It's not Trincao.
Ignacio, Coates, Reis, Porro, Ugarte. I'm just reading the team. Ignacio, Coates, Reis.
Acuna.
I'll find
That's it. St. Just.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
I've done it.
He I don't know what the stats are on this guy or what the data is. I mean, we need Will Stewart or one of you guys that are good at it, but that's it. Look, someone's put in the chat. Jeremiah St. Just. That's it. Sammy Mehmet. Sammy. That guy. That's the guy. I remember even at their ground, he looked pretty solid.
Yeah.
And we need to find that type of center back, the someone who's kind of off radar, because I don't think we felt all the contention for the Bastonis and whoever the minute we fell out of European competition. A lot of the people, Skriniar, all these people we wanted, thought we could have got at the winter opening and things like that, or even before the season. They're gone. They're out of the question now. They're not going to come play for us, no matter how much money go. With this rebuild and where we are in the table and our expectations, we have to find players like you just mentioned, these kind of guys who, there's talented but not upper echelon on everyone's radar.
But the thing with that Poch team that I look back on, right, is that there was a lot of partnerships around the pitch, and obviously Vertonghen and Alderweireld played loads and loads of years together, which is why I brought up the point with Otamendi, because Romero and Otamendi played together for Argentina. So the whole point is they had a partnership. So the back line was sorted because he had obviously Rose and Walker as well, who'd obviously been at the club for a long time. And then midfield obviously had Dembele, Wanyama, and whoever else. It was already there. But it was all about partnerships around the pitch. And right now the squad's so fractured that there's none of that anymore. So you kind of need to build them, and you're gonna need to be cute to fill those gaps, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we've been missing partnerships for a good 3-4 years now. Our midfield has been shot for about 8 years. Well, not 8 years, about 6 years as well. So it's not just.
Yeah, but you know why, Corey boy? You know why? If you look at the back four this year, wing backs and centre backs, it's chop, change. The goalkeeper, chop, change. Midfield, we've had 5 different midfield combinations, partly because of injury, partly because of players not being good enough. The front three's been chop, change. Under Poch, you knew the starting 11. You knew the best 11. If they're fit, they're playing. And it developed the partnerships. At Spurs now, Conte didn't know what his best 11 was. Then Stellini came in, changed it up a bit. Then Mason come in and changed it up a bit. I mean, how the last game of the season, those 2 random academy kids come on the pitch. If you're Alfie Devine, you're thinking, fuck this. There's no partnership. There's no logical thinking with what we're doing. We don't know what our best 11 is. I don't think we know what our best 11 is. I mean, we might know, but I don't think the managers do.
I don't think we know. But because the defense can be any combination you want to think of, and same with the midfield too, really. And then the rest is, I guess, the attack kind of sorts itself out. But the rest of the team is just a shambles, isn't it? So
we need to really, if we're going to be serious about this rebuild, we need to start from the back and then over 2-3 years develop where the rest of this is going, because the centre backs and the wing backs need to be, or even whatever positions we're going to be using them as, full backs, inverted full backs, whatever we're going to call them nowadays. I still think there's a player there in Reggie. I know he's been injured.
I'm with you
still
with that.
better
I'm
than
with you with that. Yeah,
he's still better than Cess and Perisic. So
I
at
don't know
least
if he
bring
can
him in.
defend. Reggie.
We got
I don't think he
Adoje
can
coming
defend.
back as well, and he's had a solid season. So there's your two left wing backs right there. Get rid of the other two. As for our right side, I mean, we've got Porro. We're going to have Spence, even though... And then you've got Emerson Chicken Royale. I mean, the guy is just toilet. We got a goalkeeper for a paddy out at Newcastle.
No, but guys,
got to start at the back first.
But listen. Can I ask you a question? When you're talking this rebuild, how much money do you really think Levi's going to pump into this club?
Levi,
how much
Levi.
I love that.
No money's going
in.
in.
No, he already said it.
Well, how are we getting this rebuild?
The 150 war chest.
I still think that 150 million last year was laundered money. I still really think it was for them to clean their money up. I really do.
A war chest.
No, he said it the other day. He was already told that he has to live behind his means. It was just reported the other day that Big Ange is going to have to live behind his means.
Work within his means.
Yeah, he says we'll have to work within his means in the transfer market after Antonio Conte tried to pressure the club to spend significantly. So it is what it is. You know, Big Ange. It's always going to be a limited.
Who said that? Who said that? Mahri? Who said that?
According to, I think it was Matt Law.
Matt Law.
Gary
Telegraph.
Yeah, Gary
Telegraph.
So
I don't think we're going to spend big money, man. I don't think we're going to spend big money. Not saying that though. The year we finished in the Conference League and Mourinho took over, or was Mourinho in Europa Cup or Conference League?
Conference.
Yeah, so that season we did spend 140 million under Mourinho when we were in the Conference League, so you never know.
So here's the million-dollar question, right? And we know this season coming up and the next season, other than maybe a miraculous, Carabao Cup run or maybe an FA Cup run, we're nowhere close. We're miles ahead, right? And Ange is used to working on a tight budget, right? In comparison to the other teams that we have to compete against, I mean, we would never overtake them. I mean, I'm not talking about now, 1 or 2. I'm talking about 5 years, 10 years. Like, as long as Levy is here, we are never going to overtake them. The reason for the stadium, the reason for all these finances was to compete with them. But if it's always going to be, we work with a tight budget, not saying that you can't be successful with a tight budget. It's extremely hard, but, it's, is it for future-wise, are we saying that we will never?
Mahri, this is what scares me, because what you're saying here is facts. But Stellos posted a thing the other day from Forbes and showed out the richest clubs in the whole world football. We're third for profit. So we're third for profit. Why are we not competing with any of these clubs? But we're spending like West Ham. Do you know what I mean? Like, why?
Well, the thing is, I've told this, and you have those who are Levianers, those who said that we cannot compete with money. Okay, well, Liverpool got more money. We use them for. We use them as an example. Our club is not working on a Burnley budget. We're not even working on a West Ham budget, right? The parent company of Enoch is Tavistock. I'll say this time and time. Tavistock is a successful billion-dollar business, and I'm only talking about the entity in Florida alone, right? It's not we're ninth, third on this list, ninth on this list. But the thing is, the way Spurs spend, right? And I guess I was talking Sean the other day on one of the streams, is that Spurs, their philosophy is to spend within the club, right? It's like think of a circle, and it's never going to put an influx of outside funds. Supposedly they did it with the 150 last year, supposedly, but the model is to have the club pay within itself with fidelity, right? If the club is making money, right, you would think you'll spend more. Now, spending more means nothing now because players will not come to our club because we're a shambles. We're in a shambles. But if we get to the point where we, Big Ange, in maybe 4 years, take us to a Champions League final, right? He has us maybe fighting for the title in 4 years, right? We hope that in 3 to 4 years, 5 years, right? Will we now take that extra step, right? When we did it with Pop, will we try to go over the line with these profits, right? That's the question, right? It's too early to think about it, but it's something to think of in the future. Will we have the ambition to go over the line, in 5 years if we're in a position to go over the line?
I don't think we do, but then you also have to look at Mr. Lewis. He turned over nearly £900 million in profit for his companies alone last year, and yet doesn't have the balls to stick his hands in his pocket and actually properly invest in a team that he's supposed to love. Got 2 of his yes men. They're supposed to love Tottenham. Don't give us money. So we either need to sell up quick with players that still have some sort of value. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck and getting relegated in a few years' time. I can just see it happening.
Me personally, I think if there's players like Perisic, for example, that is on 180,000, I think it is.
182
so
and a half, yeah.
182 and a half. All right, cool. My thing is, if we somehow he doesn't want to, from what I gather, he doesn't want to be at the club. I don't know if those rumors were true, but I think I heard something like he didn't want to be at the club. So for me, if a player doesn't want to be at the club and we're paying 182,000 in wages, if we can sell him, I would say get rid of him, because that means it opens up a space for potentially another player to come in. It might not be a £50 million player or £40 million player, but at least the wages are free and we could open up another avenue. And I want to take that with a few other players that are in our squad that are maybe not as expensive as a Perisic, but just players that Postecoglou would want in his squad, like young players, because he likes younger players. So Perisic is obviously 33, is he, or 34? So he would want a player in his earlier 20s, and he would want to back them. So I think the best thing to do is to get rid of 6 or 7 players and free up the wages that we could maybe possibly bring in 3 or 4 players that Ange wants.
Yeah, that's a good shout, to be honest with you. We need options quick for this transfer list and everything to go on. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck dragging our heels behind teams that are starting to get somewhere,
I think it's just got to be a combination of everything, right? So you need some academy players to come through, whether it's Alfie Devine, Dane Scarlett's, Charlie Sawyers, whoever. Some have got to come through. Then you need some of the existing players to step it up, and he needs to coach them how to play a better way that suits them. Then he's going to have to bring in a couple of cheap gems like what Dele Alli was for us for 3-5 million, like what Arsenal did with Martinelli, some cheap signings that turn out to be gems. Then he's going to have to get his 15, 20, 25 million pound players. And then hopefully we buy 1 or 2 50, 60 million pound players. And it's just going to have to be a mix across the board of players like that. And because effectively that's what Poch did, right? I know Poch didn't spend 50, 60 million, but back then 42 million Davinson Sanchez. That was a lot of money, I guess, back then for us. So I think if we can do that, then there might be a chance. And I say might because I think the competition's the toughest it's ever been that I can remember in the Premier League. I don't remember a Premier League that looks this hard as the amount of really strong looking teams there are in the league. And plus, who's going to be in charge of these transfers? Because we still haven't got that director of football. Still haven't sorted that out. So unless it's just a myth. Unless it's a myth that we're getting one.
I heard we're linked with Seville's director of football. And I heard apparently Aston Villa want him as well. But apparently Ange hasn't never worked with a director of football before. So
no, never.
It'd be interesting to see how it works out with a director of football with him, if he gets along with him or if it clashes or not. Do you know what I mean? Because he's used to doing things obviously his way. He's like he's got the final say, right? So yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens with that. So I wonder if they're actually actively going to work now. Sorry, go on.
But see, when he's director of football, do you believe that a director of football should work in sync with the manager, or the manager should work in sync with the director of football? Because in my eyes, I think the director of football should work for the manager. But the way these clubs are set up is the director of football picks him and tells the manager what's going on. If you're the manager of the club, you're the one who wants the players, you're the one who chooses, and the director of football should be like your mates telling you this is what's going on. You know what I mean? Or am I wrong?
Do you know what? I'll answer that. I think it should always be the manager, for one reason only, because the manager, 9 times out of 10, used to be an ex-professional, played the game, knows what it's like to be in the dressing room, knows what it's like to be on the training pitch, knows what it's like to be coached, to be managed, to be in tough games, easy games, ups, downs. They've got that football experience. And Postecoglou has played. He was a professional football player and he was a captain. Now, whether it was at a high level, doesn't matter. Football's football. You can play amateur football until you're 30. You've played the game. And directors of football, most of them haven't played. I mean, Edu at Arsenal has, and that's probably why it's kind of working over there. But was Paratici ever an ex-football player? Doesn't look like he's played ball to me.
I think it's a thing where the manager says the style of player he wants and said, like, I want this player and I need him to do this X, Y, Z. And he tells that to the DOF, and then the DOF kind of goes out and looks for that profile of player. And then between the two of them, they sit down and they kind of agree on a particular player. And then the DOF, once they agree on a particular player, the DOF will go out and he resume like talk to the agent, and the rest is history.
Yeah,
that's how I see it.
That's about it. What I'm saying is, who's the alpha? Who's the omega? Someone's got to be calling the shots. Do you know what I mean?
So I was going to be calling the shots. Yeah. So I'm assuming that the manager would say, look, I need this type of player, and then he would communicate that to the scout, not to the DOF, and then the DOF will be like, because at the end of the day, it's the manager that picks the players, not the director of football. But I know the director of football. I think it's you know what? I know what you're trying to say, because basically it's a philosophy that whether the manager's there or not, the director of football will always be there. He's meant to outlast any manager that's there before. So players normally outlast managers. They have longer contracts, whatnot. So, but I still think it's a marriage between the two of them, and they both have to agree at some point. And it's the manager at the end of the day that does pick the players. So I think he's got the mainstay.
Okay.
I don't know if that answers that question. I don't know.
Can I ask you one question, right? Is there any point having a director of football?
No, not in my eyes.
No. I don't think so.
I still believe to this day, I think it's a made-up position just to give another bloke a job.
What's the name of the position of the other Aussie guy we've hired or about to hire, the front office?
Chief Financial Officer. Chief Football Officer.
Yeah. Scott Munn.
Right.
Oh, fancy word for giving bloke too much money.
So the way I've understood it is this is how I've understood it. The manager will manage the team and the players and oversee the coaching, right? The football director will oversee the transfers, the academy, the contracts,
football and operations,
the negotiations, and then the football chief officer will oversee the business running of the football. As in, Levy is going to hand over running of the football to him, right? The illusion. We know he's going to interfere, right? He can't help himself. I just feel that the best combination I've seen at Spurs was a manager, Poch, and a really good scout that knew his shit, Paul Mitchell. That's all we needed, and it worked. When we stopped feeding the money into it, that's when it collapsed. So I don't know about his football director, chief football officer. I just think it's all bullshit, personally speaking. I think it's overcomplicating something that's a lot more simple than that.
Yeah, I think it came from Borussia Dortmund. They were the ones that were leading in the director of football kind of search, where the director of football, like I said before, he outlasts the manager. So whatever manager comes in, it's always going to be the same style of play, same philosophy, same players. So whoever gets put in, that manager has the same philosophy as the director of football or as the club. So the identity is there forever. So like Brighton now, Brighton have a style of football. And basically when their manager left and then De Zerbi came in, well, Potter, that's his name. When Potter left and De Zerbi came in, it was pretty much business as usual. Do you know what I'm saying? See what I'm trying to say? So they got the style of
Ajax and Barcelona have been doing that for decades without that role.
Yeah, Barcelona have a director of football as well, though.
Yeah.
And I remember
their
director of football went to
financial
Man
problems.
City to work with Pep.
Maybe now, but okay, Ajax haven't budged from their philosophy from the Johan Cruyff days.
What was Van der Sar?
It's total football.
Was it Van der Sar director of football or no? I got it wrong. I thought Van der Sar.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know. You might be right. I don't know. I just don't think you need. Look, I hear what you're saying. I just think that
because if you think about a manager lasts like roughly in the Premier League now about 1.7 months. I mean 17 months. Sorry, or 2 years, 3 years. It's only like you get your Klopps and your Pep Guardiolas that have outlasted it. But the average tenure of a manager nowadays is like 2 years. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And so I think because the club spends so much hiring and firing and they keep changing their philosophies, keep changing their ideas. This manager wants this type of player. A new manager comes in and they want this type of player. Then it's like you're mix-mashing players. And then the next manager that comes in, he's like, I don't want none of these ones. So it's like a high turnover of players each year, and it's costing the club fortunes. Whereas if they've got a director of football and the philosophy is the same, then it doesn't. I think that's how it works. I don't know.
But so for that to work, that means you can only bring in a director of football that's going to be just like the previous guy. Otherwise, the next director of football is going to come and say, no, we're changing the way we do it.
Exactly that. So the director of football was meant to be Paratici, but obviously he got done for fraud. But if he was still in charge, then he would have brought in
only fraud. That guy was,
I think he was. I thought it's fraud bay, innit? I think he was doing.
That's a Levy signing too, by the way.
Daniel Levy is a fraud.
Well, yeah, definitely. I agree on that. But I basically think if he was still here, then he would have gone for a similar style of manager, like that he thought would have been best suited for the club, so that he wouldn't, every player he gets in, he wouldn't have to like it would have been wing backs. He would have bought a manager, whether they're attacking or not, they would have liked a back three with wing backs. So he wouldn't have to change the whole, system, because like he probably wouldn't have had a Ange Postecoglou because he wants a back four, and I don't think Paratici wanted that. He would prefer what do you call it? From Barcelona. What's his name? The Spanish coach, Enrique. He would have preferred Enrique because Enrique plays with a back three, and he still plays attacking football. Nagelsmann again, the back three. You know what I'm saying? Even I'm
against this all, mate. I don't think the director of football should be deciding the way the club plays football. Why? Why should he decide?
It's because the high turnover, like I was saying, because you keep changing the system, changing the players. There's a high turnover of players, and it costs the club fortunes.
Then just bring in, then only hire managers that play a certain type of football.
Well, I have a question. Like,
when the director of football was there, I think that's the reason why the director of football was there.
Why can't the chairman do that? Why has he got to give this guy the role to do that?
Because the chairman doesn't know anything. Because Daniel Levy knows nothing about football. So that's why he
But then-
hires someone that knows about
but
football.
So then he shouldn't be talking. So then he shouldn't be putting out statements about we're going to bring back
I
free flowing,
agree.
attacking, entertaining
Yeah.
football. Then shut up.
I
Shut
agree.
up.
I agree.
Zip.
I agree. I agree. Well, I think that's the actual method behind the madness, and I think that's the modern way of football, and that's the reason why. Because the older school days were you bring a manager in, and the manager does everything. He does the signing of the player. He scouts the play, not scouts the player, but he signs the player. He brings the player in. He pretty much runs the club. But this new style,
That's
is
what a
director
manager
of
is.
football.
That's what a manager
Yeah.
is. Run the club.
Yeah.
Run the club.
But
Not a coach.
nowadays,
A coach.
Yeah,
Go on,
exactly.
Ash.
Yeah, no, I
Sorry,
agree.
Ash.
I agree. No, I agree. So nowadays we employ coaches and we have a director of football. So the director of football is now the new manager, if that makes sense, because they outlast the coaches. The coaches get hired and fired all the time. And I think that's when Nagelsmann came in and he was like, wow, where's my director of football? I need my transfer policy. I want to discuss it with him. We haven't got a director of football. What are we doing? I think that's what it is. It's just a modern way. Like I said, I'm on the side of like just bring a manager in and let him do it, because Postecoglou, he knows his stuff, innit? He's like an encyclopedia when it comes to football. When he got
That's
Celtic players in, go on. Yeah, it is.
Forward.
I
Got
agree,
a manager that runs it from the youth all the way up. He chooses who comes in. He chooses how goes out.
Simple.
It's no
It's
chairman,
not
no director of football.
Yeah.
A manager runs the club. That's why he's called the manager,
Yeah.
not a coach.
Exactly.
So you can have a coach for under 20s, under 21s, under 17s, all different coaches.
Yeah.
No one knows the head from their ass. Do you know what I mean? You've got a director of football who, like what Stel said, who's got nothing to do with football. He's just to do a business, and he's there directing the club. Levi's taking advice off the director of football, when it should be a manager that's running his club from top to bottom.
Do you think
Too many
with all these
kitchens,
different
too many
markets, that old thing comes into it, like too many chefs spoil the broth?
That's
in that
the
sense.
debate.
Too many monkeys spoil the soup. Yeah. But why do we think that's going to happen for Ange now when it didn't happen under Poch, didn't happen under Mourinho, didn't happen under Conte? That type of control. I mean, what makes us think that that's going to change now? Just optimism. It can't get worse.
There is one thing that I think
He's not that guy.
and I said it on a stream I did yesterday. I think this guy comes with no baggage, no criticism, no controversy, no media bust-ups, no tear-ups with other managers. He comes as someone that everyone that works alongside him can't wait to big him up. They can't wait to sing his praises. And I think because of that, he has a much better chance than Jose, Conte, Stellini, or Mason of winning over the fans. Now, just hear me out. This is my theory. If he continues that and wins over the fans, then when Poch had us all won over and we got rid of him, and now we will look back and say, fuck, why did any of us turn against Poch? If Postecoglou wins over the fans, and he's got a history of doing this, like I said, there's no baggage. If he does it this time, and then he gets screwed, that's going back to your question, why do we think it's going to work this time? If he gets screwed, I don't see the fans turning on the manager like they did with Poch, because we will say, hold on, you ain't doing this shit again. I think the fans will stand by him over the board this time round. But in order for what I'm saying to pan out, he has to win over the fans and the media and the players like he did at all the other clubs. So that's why part of me thinks this might work. But like I said earlier on, if you were watching earlier on, I just don't trust Levy to not fuck it up at some point.
Sure. Yeah, of course. He's winning me over, like slow. I watched his videos, his speeches. His speech made me want to run through a wall, that he gave.
That speech
like
at
what
the
he
end of it,
says.
now go enjoy your lunch.
Yeah,
But here's the key point. Here's the key point. It's like, what was we paying Conte a year? How much was we paying Conte a year? 8 million, wasn't it? It was 8 million, 15 million, whatever they were paying him. How much are we paying?
Yeah.
How much are we paying Ange? How much are we paying Ange?
Probably 2-3.
Probably 2-3, yeah.
Exactly. So we're basically getting Ange for 4 years for 1 year to Conte. And it's going to be a yes man. It's the wages. It's complete difference.
I've read he's not a yes man, but having said that, I thought Mourinho wasn't a yes man and Conte wasn't. Well, Conte wasn't a yes man. That's why he blew up on
Conte did
That
You
is
have
the
£50 million a year, you're a yes man. When you take someone's paying you 50 million, 10 million, I'm a yes man. Anyone is, you are. But like, you've got to think, Ange don't earn this money. Ange ain't earning this money.
Conte wasn't. But Conte wasn't
But
yes man. He's
I would say this.
saying this club, this board, they win nothing. Why? Look at them. This club will never learn. You can get rid of me. He threw everyone under a bus. Like he buried everyone.
He
I will
read
say
our
this.
diary at that press conference.
So, because Phil said Levy, and I put down Levy gets banter about Arsenal fan.
Yeah,
And I might be crazy for saying this.
Was that really Levy? Or was that lookalike?
No, that was
That's what I was
Levy, man. That was
Levy. It was
Levy.
Levy. I thought it
That
might
was
have been a
Levy,
lookalike.
man.
I might thought it was a
Ah.
lookalike. But I was
know.
gonna say this. I'll say this, and
That was a good lookalike.
I'll probably get some interesting comments. Maybe, just maybe, what happened today to him, right? You know, you see his face, his wife taps his leg or whatsoever. And today, even his reaction, right? He didn't call for security or whatsoever. Maybe, and that was crazy, but maybe he's just like, man, you know what, man? Our club has had one of our worst seasons. I've been depressed. He looks unhappy. I just had this Arsenal fan just banter me, and basically he didn't do nothing. And just maybe, I'm hoping maybe this is the drive to say, you know what? I just hired Big Ange. I'm not gonna fuck shit up. I'm going to. Do I believe it? Do I believe what I'm saying? Probably no. But in hopes, he's just saying, you know what? Fuck that. You know what? I'm gonna let Big Ange do magic. I'm gonna let him do work. I'm not even gonna mess with him. I want to win something, so I won't be bantered by an Arsenal fan like that. Maybe I'm crazy, and I am. But
No.
you know what happened today? I was surprised. He didn't fight back. It was more like shit.
I don't think you're crazy.
It was that.
I don't think you're crazy.
Maybe something like that needs to happen to kind of, you know.
Wake
and
you up.
Don't get me wrong, I have no sympathy for Daniel Levy, but I'm saying maybe being humiliated like that, maybe as a man, it will get him kind of say, you know what, that's it. Okay, you know what.
Mahri,
What my fans are feeling. Now I know what Spurs fans are feeling. Even as today, as West Ham has not won a trophy, and we have won fuck all in the last 15 years.
Yeah, I think Mahri, I think him not being in Europe, I think that burns him more. Like, because that's burning his pocket. I think he's desperate to get back into Europe to sell those corporate spaces. See that across the South Stand is a big line of corporate spaces that he has. He wants that filled up. He wants to take his corporate guests into the boxes and sell them at high-end prices and wine and dine people and show off. Because I think it was a top four, he was said. I think he was quoted saying like, yeah, we're a top four club, so let me know when you're a top four club and we can have that discussion. Something like that. He said something cheeky the other day when we were in top four. So I think he's desperate to get back into Europe, and I think he'll do what it takes to get back there, but then he might go back to old Levy once he gets back into Europe. But right now, I think this has been like the worst it's ever been for him at the club since he's been at their tenure. I can't remember a time when he's had fans singing Levy out, or opposition away fans saying Levy in, and balloons, and I'm saying, all the rest of it. So I think this is the time where if something is gonna give, I think he's got the motivation to get back into Europe. I think he's hungry to get that money back, because remember, he's the money guy, isn't it? So that's my hope anyway. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Guys, can I say something? I'm going to jump off now, I am. But what I'm going to say, Stelios, absolute pleasure to be on here with you. Amari, brilliant guy, love you to death.
Come on more often, bro.
You're a legend.
Come on the show more often.
Big up, bro.
Come on more often,
Thank you for having me here, guys. Thank you. Good night, boys. Good night. God bless.
Good night,
God
mate.
bless, man. Good night.
Take care, bro.
Nice one, man. Cool guy, man. I like him, man.
Do you know one thing I've noticed? And it's kind of weird, man. Do you know, I don't want to get excited, man, because whenever I get excited, shit goes wrong.
That's
But
right. That's right.
I want to stay. If I stay depressed,
get
then when
excited.
depression kicks in, I'm already there. You can't do nothing to me, right?
I'm the same, bro. I'm the same.
We stay at that level. But I just when we signed Conte, I remember a lot of Chelsea fans saying, "Oh, that's the best thing you could have done," they said we're worried. We're worried.
that's it.
We're all worried.
Yeah,
we're all worried, right?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
But other fans didn't. Arsenal fans said 2-year contract. He's done. He's gone. Everyone else cooked us. Now, I've never seen this before. Maybe because I haven't been on YouTube long enough. But every show I've been on the past 3-4 days, I've never seen so many Australian fans, Japanese, Celtic, even Rangers fans who hate Celtic. They've all come in the chat saying, "You're so lucky. You're so lucky. You don't know how good you're gonna." It scares me to think we might actually have got it right. So I'm gonna stay depressed, right? Let me just stay there. But with Conte, people were scared because he had that elite stature, but we were still getting cooked by all the other fans who were saying 2 years. Look, he's gonna walk out. It's a disaster. They were all right.
Yeah.
Not one person who isn't Spurs and is a bit conflicted, who doesn't know him, has come on and said, I don't know if this might be too much of a step. You got the Australian Football Association coming out and saying he's going to kill it at Spurs. Like, it's weird. It's different. I don't know.
Well, this is definitely going to be his biggest challenge as of yet, you know. And if anybody can make him fail, it will be Spurs, certainly. Looking at Conte and Mourinho, but yeah, I mean, everything you just said is kind of the sentiment I get. You know, nobody's come out and said, "Oh, he's washed up," or he's fluke or anything like that. Lucky. It's really been about him. So I think there's reason to be optimistic. But to be fair, it's not that I don't want to give Levy a win. It's almost like it would be an accident, like Pochettino was. I don't know why, I guess maybe the hiring of 2 Australian, people are fluke, but with Daniel Levy, I have reason to be suspicious when he makes decisions like that. Any decision, really. So, but we'll see.
I think Scott Munn brought him in. Because he worked with him before, didn't he? And also, I like the fact that when Big Ange was talking, I call him Big Ange like I know him for years. When Ange was talking, he always goes, "I always go to a club and they mock me. They mock me at first. But I always say, give me a year. That's what I want. 1 year. Just give me the year." And I kind of like that he's the underdog because that speaks to my soul. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I'm a person that, like, bro, say I'm rubbish or say I'm not good at something, I won't say nothing. I'll come back and I'll smoke everyone. I'm that kind of person. I work in silence. That's
Trial
why I
by
see
fire.
it. Yeah, listen, me, and when he said about his dad as well, that for me was that thing where he said, "Oh, I want to make my dad proud." I can relate. I can relate totally. So, like, whether he's the right man or not, we'll see, innit? We'll see. But at least for me, he's playing football. He said he wants to play football that he wants his players to enjoy. He wants players to enjoy. Like, when you first start playing football, you play with the ball at your feet. You want to dribble. You're trying to score goals. That's the type of football he wants to play. That's what he said. So when he said that, I said, "That's facts. You don't play football and want to defend. That's the last thing you want to do." Not saying like, "Raw, we're not going to get exposed at the back and da-da-da-da-da." But the principles, and I think his energy is in the right place. That's what I kind of like. And I like that he's got a bit of a fire about him as well, that he's not afraid to tell man off. You see what I'm trying to say? But like, obviously Conte was there. We had Conte to do that as well. But I like that he's got a bit of a mix as well. And he's not going for the elite of the elite. He said he can work with what he's got. And guess what? He can work on a budget. Doesn't matter. He said, "Give me anything. Give me anything. And I'll run with it. Just give me the time and I'll do it." So I think for me, it's just a marriage that may work because, like, the win now managers, they want big budgets. They want big names. They want big players. Ange ain't coming with that type of energy. He ain't saying, "Oh, I need Madison for me to work," or "I need the top." He's not saying none of that. He's just saying, "Raw, give me what you give me, and I'll work with it." Do you understand? But let me get rid of the players I need to get rid of, and I like the fact that it's young players as well. That's my thing. Yeah, because young players to me means mobility, running off the ball. Whereas before we weren't always going for the younger players. No, because if you're doing one touch, two touch, and you're playing attacking football, that's what you need. You need that kind of book, speed of fall, quick movement, dip a shoulder. Yeah, I'm trying to say, open your hips up. Like that's the type of football I enjoy watching. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna get gassed, but I'm just saying those are the I like his principles. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I just like his principles. Whether it works or not, I'm happy with an eighth. Whether these fans can stomach an eighth, and I know a lot of people want top four, but I just say give the youth time, man. Give the brother time. Sorry, give the guy time. So that's where I stand on it.
Yeah, I think his biggest hamstring is going to be just the state of our squad and players, and just how complicated it is with the loans people we have out, just all these signings that are not playing. I know more. You know, he needs 3 transfer windows. You know, at least to make everything right, and for people to get creative. You know, people a lot in the know and operations wise, just to make all these contracts work and get the people out. And we're gonna have to take losses on most of these players. But we have to accept that and then move on. And it seems like he can. Hopefully, I like to think that they have people in mind on their radar that are not going to break the bank. But at some point, we're probably, as Stel said, you still have to buy that $50 million player at some point to be competing at the top levels in the Premier League. Because if we just kind of keep getting, no matter how good and he can do with his players he wants, in this league, it's the toughest league in the world. Even the best can just flounder at 12, go from anywhere from 10 one season to relegation battle.
The thing is, well, last thing I'll just say as well before I finish, I'll just say Man City apparently wanted to replace Pep with Ange, so I hear, because he had a similar philosophy and a similar attacking style to what Pep has. And then Brighton wanted to get Ange. That was their first point of call, but because Ange was in Celtic, he was in the job already, they couldn't go for him, so they went for De Zerbi. So De Zerbi was their second choice. Now, my thing is, if we were to get De Zerbi before he went to Brighton, I don't think we'd be excited about De Zerbi. We'd probably have our reservations. You see what I'm trying to say? Even though De Zerbi plays attacking football, it's like we probably look at him like, what has he done? I think Ange is getting beaten with a stick that he hasn't played in Europe at all. And I think that's the reason why fans are sticking their nose up at him. And the expectation is top 4 or a cup. And if we don't get that, he's failed. And I just think it depends how you see it as a fan, because I kind of get those fans as well at the same time, because I turn my nose up.
Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people said that was a fluke, but you got to do it, whatever. He fucking did it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like it all comes down to expectation. That's what I'm going to say. And that was the last thing I was going to say, man.
And my expectations for this club is basically this. I see us finishing maybe 10th or 11th, but see early implements of what Big Ange wants to do. I don't think it's going to be, and that's even if we don't have Kane. I can't see ourselves being in regulation battle. Maybe that's the worst, but I don't see it. I think just out of respect for him, I think we'll be like mid-table, and hopefully we're seeing signs of what type of football we want to be. So 10th or 11th, yeah, I know it's that, but you gotta think about it, like RW. You gotta think about it. You got, let me name you the clubs, right? You got Man City, right? We're not better than Man City. Liverpool will be back. They just signed McAllister, right? Then Chelsea will be back. I'm sorry, they finished 12th. That's fool's goal. They will be back with Poch, and they're finding his name. They'll be back, right? Chelsea, Newcastle is on the up and up, right? You got Newcastle. You have
I'm not sure about Chelsea.
You got Arsenal, right? Arsenal. They're not going to go down. Then you got Brighton. I think Brighton right now is a better club than us, right? They've scouted better. They're playing better. De Zerbi, some wonders. Emery and Villa, I think they're better than us. But now the club that we're competing, I think, honestly, is with Brentford. Now, they're going to miss, so that's number 8. Now they're going to miss Tony, so we'll see what they do. I have Brentford up there, right? So 9th, 10th, or 11th. I see us, missing out on Europa Conference League. I see us honestly being 9th or 10th. Just to be honest, that's not necessarily a bad thing, like I said, but I want to see the elements of Big Ange football. If I see that, I'm content. Like I said, Arsenal 8th, 2nd. I would take that in a heartbeat. If you told me we were going to finish 10th, then maybe 7th, and then 3rd, then that's a progression I could see. By the 4th year, okay, we're ready to challenge for. But we got to be realistic. This club, from top to bottom, has so many holes. It's not even fun. There's so many things that needs to be done. The academy, to the scouting, right? People talk about the transfer window, right? The scouting, right? What philosophy? What mentality? What type of players are we going to scout now for Big Ange, right? The last couple of years, it hasn't been that great. So there's a lot to be done. And so when the Chris Collins of the world say top 4, I think he's blazing on something. He's
I want to tell that.
Blazing.
We don't even have that good here in California.
Nah, man, he's on that. He's on that white boogaloo.
He's on that white top 6. He's blazing something.
He's a white widow.
Best maybe 7th.
Hey, Cowlin is cracked. You should call it crack Cowlin.
I expect
clap Cowlin.
He's
blazing. Nowhere near a top 6 club. So that's why I say 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th would be my expectations for the club. That would be my expectations.
Top 8 has just gotten so competitive, It's so competitive now. Yeah, and if you're staying stagnant, you're going backwards. And but I think like teams like West Ham, even with the success they had today, but like Brentford, they need to make the moves. I think they have a better office or organization than we do in terms of what they're trying to achieve. But nothing's guaranteed. They can drop out. It wouldn't surprise me if Brentford was in a relegation battle because it can be hot and cold like that for a lot of those teams. And
West Ham are in Europe now as well. They're in Europa.
Yeah,
they might be able to get 1 or 2 players because they're in Europa ahead of us.
yeah,
Can you imagine?
Yeah. So with them finishing 9th, all right, West Ham 8th, we're finishing 9th, 9th or 10th. We're nowhere close to top 6. I will guarantee it. I don't want to do no crazy bet, but I can guarantee we will not finish top with this club, and even with some additions. We would not finish top 6.
Does it?
It will be a miracle.
Doesn't it depend on
Water to
what
wine?
happens? Murray, doesn't it depend on what happens with Harry Kane?
I think even with Kane, because I think the team have enough. I mean, if we could get a creative midfielder, if we could get a proper,
if we kept Conte, would we? If we kept Conte for the last 10 games, would we have finished below 6th?
Oof, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, we probably would have finished in Europa, but
do you think the team's too dependent on Kane? Do you think other players would step up if Kane was gone or not? You think
under Poch they did?
Because that's what I was going to say. The Champions League run when Kane was injured, that's when those players kind of stepped up. Because I thought we were going to capitulate when Kane got injured, and players just stepped up.
Do you know what frustrates me, Ashmaik? It's a case of we talk about Kane. Is he holding the rest of the players back? But if Kane goes to any other club, he instantly improves them.
I know.
I mean, if he goes to United, he's just going to be pelting them in. you know.
Any
But
club,
they're paying for a rebuild.
any club,
Yeah,
Man
yeah,
City,
you're
Liverpool,
right, yeah.
Chelsea, Arsenal,
Well,
anywhere.
this is what I think they're paying for rebuild.
Madrid,
for men.
Barcelona.
This is what I think that the paying for rebuild is painful, because I can't think of a painful rebuild without Kane. Kane is the pain. Losing Kane's painful. That is a painful rebuild.
But we've done it before in the past with players, losing Modric, losing Bale, losing Berbatov.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I'm probably missing
100%.
more off that list, but those 3 players alone, you know, we built and come back.
Yeah. And with each of those names you said, there was 1 to 2 year period where there was a painful transition in terms of bringing in players, them not working out, some luck, some working out. Yeah. And if he leaves, we can only expect that type of vacuum, that power vacuum.
Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong. There'll be a huge void with Kane gone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what if he does stay here for another 4 or 5 years and then retires? We've still got to find it in 4 or 5 years' time.
Yeah.
Then what?
So you say you'd rather do it now? You'd rather do the...
I'd rather pull the Band-Aid off quickly now, get the money in for Ange. I'd also say, if the rumours are true and Saudi Arabia coming in for Sonny... Not that Sonny would go, but maybe cashing on Sonny as well, because although we all love him, it's time that we cashed in some of these players that still hold some value, you know.
Then we instantly lose all our quality as a team.
Yeah, I know, but then we could always find diamonds in the rough, or youth players, or youngsters, or something coming through, because Ange knows these markets that we don't know about. He knows these players.
I wouldn't sell both of them. I'd probably sell one. I just think taking the whole... Because when I look at Liverpool, they saw Coutinho. It was like one big player at a time. It wasn't like they got rid of the whole of their nucleus.
Yeah, but look how well they reinvested the money, though. They reinvested it so well.
They did.
I personally don't have the fucking patience to go through a whole season of Harry Kane transfer rumors... blah blah blah.
It's true. It's true.
I'm already fucking over, and it's been how many weeks since the season's over? I'm done with it.
I hear you, man.
Yeah, it's true. I'd rather know
every
sooner than later.
Every season, it's the same shit. The same media.
The talkie boxes are going to be about this all. They have nothing to talk. They got to kill fucking time between the Euros and all these gap shit. They're just going to keep pushing that narrative and scenarios and some left field Harry Kane stay leave scenarios and stuff like that. That's what I don't. That's what the thing I'm least anticipated. Whether he stays or leaves, it doesn't matter. But it's just that's killing me as well.
Why do we want a player that went down? Need to be looking forward, not backwards. There's only a certain amount of teams that I would take from relegated, or players I'd take from relegated teams. Like if we're looking for a new right wing back, I'll take that Tino Livramento from Southampton all day long. He's a good young player. I would take Ward-Prowse from Southampton because that's the creative midfielder we're looking for. I would take Maddison from Leicester. I would take a couple of other of the Leicester players.
I don't think Maddison comes to Spurs though. Corey.
I know he's off. He's going to go to Newcastle. That's my opinion. He's off to Newcastle because they can pay him more. And it's not too far away from where he lives. Think about it that way.
I would take Jota from Celtic if we could get him.
Oh, he's a good player, man. He's such a good player, that Jota.
Jota is
really good player.
One of those players that was a diamond in the rough,
Who plays in the number 6 for Celtic?
I forget his name, man.
It's not the Japanese guy. I like him.
No, it's not a Japanese guy.
Scottish.
No, it's not. It's a Scottish guy. I'll tell you now.
Yeah, it is.
It's the player that he's made untouchable. What's his name? Oh, he's going to wind me up.
He's a good player. He looks good. I mean, it's Scotland, so I don't know, but he looks good.
He is.
Is it Williams?
Hold on. Why is it not showing up for me? Oh, this is annoying. Oh, I've got it here. Hold on. Close. Not Jota, not O'Reilly and Bennett stuff. Johnston, Vickers, nope. Taylor.
Someone's put McGregor in the chat.
Yeah, McGregor, that's his name.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, no, is it not McGregor? Wait, hold on. They're taking a piss.
Guys, I'll be honest, I don't know the name, but he plays in the 6 and he looks... Callum McGregor, they're saying. He looked... If that's him, he looked pretty good. He looked pretty good.
Hey, Callum McGregor a fighter? Are they taking a piss?
That's Conor McGregor.
Oh, that's Conor McGregor. Sorry, yeah, it's Callum McGregor. Yeah, it is. Sorry, yeah, it's Callum McGregor.
Oh, apparently he's the captain. Well, guys, he looked to me. He looked good. He looked like a good player.
Yeah,
he looked like a good player. So
Yeah.
I just signed Griezmann.
I like-
I'm doing a save on Football Manager with Ryan, and I've just got Griezmann season 3 on for 2.4 million as my Spurs save because I'm running out of wingers because they're all getting injured.
But back to what we said earlier, the rebuild needs to start from the back front. At the only position we somewhat have not depth, but at least talent. Four good midfielders. It really has to. We have to find those diamond in the roughs. Whoever Jota is, we got to find them at center back, left back.
You guys can spend money in the centre
Here's
back position.
Here's a young player I know because I watch the Swedish league. His name's called Ronnie Bajagadi. God, I've butchered that name wrong, but he's an incredible young talent as well. Plays for Malmo, if I would be correct. Again, no, Copenhagen. He's a very good young player, very well rated in the Swedish leagues, and he's an upcoming talent. So that's one player I wouldn't mind seeing. And it's probably a player you guys have never heard of. I've butchered his name.
I'd like to see a guy called Timber. Plays in the Eredivisie league. Really good. I saw him at the World Cup and he impressed me, man. Plays for Holland. He's about 21.
Yeah, he's very good. The only problem with Timber is he's got a great jumping reach, but his heading is pretty awful. So he can spring, but he misses about 60% of his headers.
We've got a question here from Della Spurs. Big up Della Spurs for the super chat. He says, I have seen Spurs players give up or give out before the season ends. Do you believe Ange can keep the winning belief for the squad for all 38 games?
He has to do something.
Depends if he gets rid of a bulk of the squad. If he gets rid of a bulk of the squad and brings in young players that he wants or gets the players that he wants, then yeah, he can. But if we don't get rid of those players, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough.
It's not Ange I'm worried about, It's the players. It's the fans' patience too, We'll be the.
I think fans' patience goes hand in hand with how well Poch does at Chelsea and Arteta does with Arsenal again. I think if they start flying, I think patience begins to wear very thin at Spurs. By the way, it's not McGregor. Danny's saying it's O'Reilly, and apparently Brighton want him. Danny, listen, I don't know. Whoever plays in the 6, that's the guy.
No, not
Whoever
O'Reilly. O'Reilly plays as the 8. It's not O'Reilly. O'Reilly plays as the 8. He's the one that they had more attacking midfielders. He's quality. He comes from MK Dons. He's from Hounslow. He's quality. Trust me. That's what I'm saying. Ange's got the knowledge, He's got him from the champion. He got him from League One. Sorry, grabbed him from League One, made him into. They call him Mr. Assist. That's how dope. He got like 12 assists. Obviously, I know it's an SPL, but like he's doing bits. But it is the guy we said. It is Callum McGregor. Because I just checked on him. But yeah, O'Reilly's dope though. I like O'Reilly. I think he's good.
Listen, guys, we're gonna end the stream because poor Mahri, man, his internet's been playing up all night, and
can't get back.
He's been battling. He's been battling all night. But listen, we'll just do a quick go around, and everyone can have their last say. Dio, let's start with you. Let's do the anti-clockwise style. What's your final thoughts on where we're at now? We've got the manager in place. He comes 1st of July, same date as when Scott Munn joins. Are you confident? Are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic? Are you like, nah, it's another shit show, or you just don't know?
I think I'm glad he's in now. I wasn't really very unfamiliar with him prior to us being interested in him. I've seen Celtic games and things like that, but moving forward, it's all about this transfer window. Are we making? Hopefully he's getting a better idea. I believe there's some European tournaments coming up too, so we might lose player, but we need to figure out he needs to figure out the squad. He needs time to work with the players to get the other players back. We got to hit the ground running once that fucking window opens and make moves. If we're lagging and we're 2 weeks in and 2 million thing here, a club kid leaves, or something like that, or we sign some prospect. No, we have to, the minute it opens, the moves have to be made. If it's not, if things are lagging, in those regards, then it's only going to reflect in the beginning of the season. And we might not hit form by mid-season, by winter, and by that time, there's too many points dropped. There's too many, and then our fate's, almost sealed, even if we do get better in the second half, this hypothetical, but, I'll wait and see. I'll be patient. I'm not one of those people who, luckily, I'm not a content creator where I have to go on every fucking day and make an opinion about something I don't want to, so, but we can be patient, or I can be patient, see what he says. Cause as everyone says, everywhere he's gone, he's done well. He seems to be well liked. As you mentioned, he has no baggage. If anybody could break him, it would be Levy. And but at the minute, I'll give him the appropriate time, like I did Nuno, like I did Mourinho, who I didn't like, and things like that. But yeah, anyways, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, mate, come on whenever you fancy it. Always welcome. Corey boy, you're not really bothered what happens at Spurs because you can support Brighton for at least one season in the Europa Cup. You're right. You got to get out of jail.
I always have a soft spot for my hometown team for what they did for me after my injury, But in my family, it's Spurs first. So, I'm wanting to give Ange this proper chance to build, as long as he's given the chance to build, not just 18 months and then we bin him off and then bring another manager in for another philosophy and then another. I get fed up of every season the manager go around. It pisses me off. Levy needs to get basically the fuck out of the way and let the footballing people get on with the football side of it. If he wants to go and promote Madonna's in next season, right? WrestleMania, let him do that part of it. Keep away from the football. Just that's my point on it. As for the season ahead, I want to be positive because it's a new season, new start. It's fresh. This guy has pedigree. Both City and Brighton wanted him at one point, if I'm correct, because they didn't know if Pepe. I'm so tired.
Pep.
Yeah, Pep was going to stick around. See, I'm just so tired because I've had such a long day with the little one. Basically, if that guy's got pedigree, why are two other teams in the Premier League scouting him? Just goes to show that there's something there. There's something special about the guy. I watched your video earlier as well, Stel, about him having no baggage, which I like because I hate managers coming in that have a history and then everybody starts getting behind the history but not really doing the research. With me, I want to believe in this guy because we need a clear out and we need a rebuild now. We need to move forward now as a team before we end up in the Championship with the nicest stadium, Has to happen soon. With Kane, like I said earlier, we need to rip the Band-Aid off quickly. With a few of these players now, they're getting old while they still hold a value. While we can still make a little bit of money out of him. All right, the financial hit might hit us a bit with no Kane or no Son shirt selling, but then the next star comes up for that shirt sells. So we've got to look at it this way. We've got to start saying goodbye to some of these players that we love.
And that's what a rebuild's all about. Ashmak, where are you at with it? And also, how long will it take to actually get all this dead wood out? How many transfer windows do you reckon?
I'm giving it 3.
3, yeah.
3. So that's summer, January, summer.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's just some people we can't unload that quickly, unfortunately.
I'd be happy between 4 and 5 in each of these windows they go because we've got at least 12 to 15 players that I would like to see out the door.
I think if he's given the power, then I think he'll be able to do a lot. In my opinion, he'll be able to get rid of a lot. I think possibly 5 because there's a lot of players that are coming back from loans. And we're going to have to do something with them because we're going to send a lot of people back out on loan, I reckon. So I don't know if that equates to it. I don't know if that's allowed. I think
we can't keep kicking the can down the road.
I know, but I think it might not be the same players that got loaned out. Some of those players might be asked to leave. But I think we will loan some players out if we can't get them out the window. Like if we can't sell them, I think we'll rip up some contracts. I think we'll loan some out and we'll sell some. So I think it'll be a mixture of 3. So I think we'll get rid of quite a few players. I think we'll get rid of maybe in this window. I'm being optimistic. I'm hoping on that 5 or 6 in the window to get rid of. But that's between a loan, a sell, and a contract rip up because they said they're going to do that. So I'm saying 6. I'm going to be optimistic and say 6. For me, I like the guy. I'm somewhere in the middle because obviously he's not proven at this level, but I like the fact that he's an underdog, and anywhere he goes, like people have negative things to say about him, and he loves that. He thrives on that. He says like, right, if you don't rate me, watch. I think like the more people, because Celtic fans were the same. As soon as he came in, they were like, Poster who? And he managed where? In Japan? They were getting crazy. But by the end of it, they were sad to see him go. So I kind of like that kind of vibe about him. And I kind of like as well that the fact that he doesn't compromise. Sorry, he doesn't compromise on his attacking football. Like he likes attacking football. That's it. And that's what we're going to go for. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just happy to see us play a bit more front footed and go for it. And that's it, really. That's what I've got to say.
He reminds me of Poch in a lot of ways, an Aussie Poch, but with probably more trophies, and accolades to bring.
So it must be a
I
good
think
thing.
I think the only thing I'll say about Poch though is he did an unbelievably good job at Southampton, and that was Premier League proven. So I think this is where we don't know. We don't, but Poch hadn't won anything. This guy has. So it's like where'd you go? Do you know? It's funny you call him Poster who, because I read somewhere someone called him Poster Boogaloo. So like, Poster Boogaloo.
See, they don't rate him. I love it. They don't rate him. I love it. It's better we don't rate him. It's better we don't rate him.
But then doesn't every manager come into a team in the Premier League not proven unless they've been at a Barca, a Bayern, or a Madrid? Mostly
De Zerbi, everyone said De Zerbi wasn't going to do it. It was Graham Potter. Proved them wrong.
Thomas Frank.
And Brighton wanted
Murray
before De Zerbi.
Murray, what about you? Where are you at with it? Yeah, no, go for it. Where are you at with it?
No, I was just saying that Ange was he didn't want to leave Celtic in the middle of the season, but they wanted him before De Zerbi. They actually wanted him, Brighton. So, there's a lot of respect for him, and because of that, and like that, from my research of him, I like what I see. I just hope he's able to work well with this board. We all know. Once again, we know Levy, we know the board, and so it is a tall order. I just hope he has strong Levy people.
It's peak Murray.
But I
Murray, you sound like you're underwater.
It's mad. It's mad for you.
It's cricket wireless.
And your face is out.
Man. Paper rebuild. I'm going through a paper rebuild.
Painful
Have you
internet
put 50p
rebuild.
in the meter, Mari? We're going to top the meter up. It might work a bit more.
I'll say this last word. Please subscribe to Tottenham Away 2. Tottenham Away 2. Guys, because we're going to have some interesting new content on Tottenham Away 2. Please.
I'll tell everyone now.
Yeah.
But basically, everyone subscribe, like, follow South View Coys, where Ashmatic, Hass, and Marlon are at. Make sure you go and support them boys. Subscribe, like this channel, Tottenham Away, and also Tottenham Away 2 is going to become another name. We don't know yet, but it's going to be more about just football in general, European football, global football. Just not Premier League, other stuff. And Mari's going to be doing a lot of bits on there. So go check it out. Make sure you subscribe to it. That's where Iggy does his Good Morning Tottenham Away videos, but he's going to move them over to this channel now, and that's going to become more of a football channel. Also, big up to Sammy for the super chat. Thank you. And De La Spurs. Big up De La Spurs. When you guys next on, Ashmatic?
We're trying to organize a live stream every Tuesday at 9 o'clock. I just want to confirm it with the boys, but we're trying to do a regular show every Tuesday. We're going to go live. I've got videos out at the moment on players I think we should get from Celtic, and I've got some videos out at the moment that's going to be about loan deals, like what loans I reckon we should bring back as well. Quite good videos. Give it a watch, guys, if you want to know. Just a quick analysis on certain players, but yeah, that's literally it.
Go check out Southview Coys. Guys, thanks for watching tonight. Big yourselves up. Sorry, Mahri's communication internet's gone to crap. Normally it's my one that's going down. I don't know what's happened. We swap places. Big up to Dio for coming on. Big up to Corey Boy. Was it Elvington that come on? Have I got his name right? The Welsh guy.
Oh no! Oh,
Not sure.
Leighton.
Sure, you know.
Leighton.
That was it. Yeah.
Big up to Leighton, and there was one other person who I forgot. As
that
well.
Newcastle fan.
Haas, Newcastle.
Oh yeah,
Stephen.
Haas,
Yeah.
Steve, and Alan. No, Andrew Bell.
Yeah.
That's it. Big up to those boys as well. People, listen, we're out of here. Our next show will either be on Friday or Monday live, so feel free to check us out. And I'm seeing if they've got an outro, but they don't have an outro.
No, man, it's freezes.
All right, I'm just going to hit Mahri's intro to say bye-bye. All right, we're out of here. Take care. Later.
Cool.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace, people.
Boy, what are we doing?